now we're at the time where the Hamashiach is getting ready to come.
And hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I am the Lord.
Last words, brother.
Shalom, ma.
All right.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. All right. Shabbat shalom, Yasharel.
That's right. Shabbat shalom. Happy new moon, Israel. Welcome to Mind of the Brotherhood.
That's right. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat new moon. Hey, make sure you all check out when you get a chance sometime later today. Check out, we did a new moon lesson last night. Going back and check that out. We see some of you already was on there last night, so all praise to the Most High. And right. We're gonna, each new moon we'll try to do a lesson, a breakaway lesson, kind of get something going, kind of offset the book of Jasher. So, and as you know, we're getting into the book of Jasher. We're in the stage where Joseph has been made governor of Egypt, and so now we're gonna go into the drought and all that stuff and how he interacts with his brothers. So it's going to be some good stuff. All right. Is that our scripture reading?
Oh, you know what?
For our scripture reading, we're in Exodus.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't.
Exodus 20. And while Brother Aton is pulling that up, I want to thank you all for being on today. Just continue to take notes. Go ahead and put those scriptures in the comments and everything, so those who are coming on, they can see where we're at.
That's right.
Alrighty. All right, I'll start off the first one. It says, remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy.
For 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
But the seventh day is the Shabbat of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy maidservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. All praises to the Most High.
That's right. Shabbat and new moon's gonna last forever. In Isaiah 66, it says, from one new moon and from one Shabbat to another, all flesh is talking about the tribes. 12 tribes will come before the Most High. It'll be a perfect utopia because, we're going to have the 144,000 ruling. We're going to have the 24 elders, the 12 disciples. Man, ain't nobody going to be able to buck. You're going to have a system in place, man, where it's going to be impossible. Because you'll be sought out real quick.
And destroyed.
That's right. It ain't gonna be like back in the days where you got some earthly king, making mistakes and stuff, man. No, you're gonna have a spiritual force on deck, a government that will never be defeated or fall. I think we've learned our lessons, man, from the fallen angels. We learned our lessons from just about all the wicked people throughout the scriptures.
Let's see.
All right.
I'm gonna add this. See if you can see it. Let me know if you can see that when that pops up on the screen or not.
I can see it.
All right, God. For some reason, it wasn't popping up for a minute there.
It's like
right.
Okay. Yep. I'll start off with the first 10.
All right, bring it out.
All right. So for those of you who are new, we're reading through the book of Jasher. We started with the very first chapter, and now we're on chapter 46, and we're going to read the whole book of chapter all the way through till we finish. We won't get done today, of course, but we do like maybe 6, depending on how long the chapters are. We'll just read through the chapters. It says, in those days, Joseph was still confined in the prison house in the hand of Egypt.
The land.
At that time, the attendants of Pharaoh were standing before him, the chief of the butlers and the chief of the bakers, which belonged to the king of Egypt. And the butler took wine and placed it before the king to drink. Wait a minute. Did we read this? Is this where we are?
Let me see.
Because I'm thinking we were close to 50.
It might have been. Oh, let me see. Slovakia, Israel. Let me see.
Yeah, I think we might be on close to 50.
Joseph. No, I think we were at 50. Okay, Con. All right, let's get on to 50 then.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, because we read 49 last week.
Yeah,
I
that's what
remember
it was. Con, yeah, that's on
we
me.
stopped
Con.
that. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute now. I think that news was somewhere. So we read 49. We should be on 50. All right. So here we go. It says, at that time, the children of Tarshish came against the sons of Ishmael and made war with them. And the children of Tarshish spoiled the Ishmaelites for a long time. And the children of Ishmael were small in number in those days. And they could not prevail over the children of Tarshish, and they were sorely oppressed. And the old men of the Ishmaelites sent a record to the king of Egypt, saying, Send, I pray thee, unto thy servants, officers, and hosts to help us fight against the children of Tarshish, for we have been consuming away for a long time. And Pharaoh sent Joseph with the mighty men and the hosts which were with him, and also his mighty men from the king's house. And they went to the land of Havilah, to the children of Ishmael, to assist them. Again, the children of Tarshish and the children of Ishmael fought with the children of Tarshish. And Joseph smote the Tarshites, and he subdued all their land. And the children of Ishmael dwell therein unto this day. So Joseph, man, he already knew the story, of Ishmael and everything, and how that was Abraham's firstborn through the handmaid. Right? And when the land of Tarshish was subdued, all the Tarshites ran away and came on the border of their brethren, the children of Javan. And Joseph, with all his mighty men and hosts, returned to Egypt, not one man of them missing. And at the revolution of the year, in the second year of Joseph's reigning over Egypt, the Lord gave great plenty throughout the land for 7 years, as Joseph had spoken. For the Lord blessed all the produce of the earth in those days for 7 years, and they ate and were greatly satisfied. And Joseph at that time had officers under him, and they collected all the food of the good years, and heaped corn year by year, and they placed in it the treasuries of Joseph. And at any time when they gathered the food, Joseph commanded that they should bring the corn in the ears, and also bring it some of the soil of the field, that it should not spoil. And Joseph did according to this year by year, and he heaped up corn like sand of the sea, and for abundance. For his stores were immersed and could not be numbered for abundance. It's amazing, because the Most High was preparing Joseph for this all this time. Because remember, when he first came into Egypt, Potiphar put him over his house, everything, over his finances, over everything. So Joseph was able to get all that practice in, and when it came time for him to be governor, it was like second nature to Joseph.
Facts. Israel, as we're reading this, I want y'all to remember also another reason why we're reading out of Jasher and Jubilees here in the next one is because we want you guys to understand, we want the Hebrews to understand and see that this is no different than any of the canonized version, right? The 66 books that we have in the King James Version or any other thing. Only thing it does is it goes into depth for some of the stories, and it gives you a different outlook on some of the events that happen in the scriptures. So, but I do want you to remember though, and to pay attention that as we read through this scripture, if you have any questions or if you have anything that you feel that is different from the other scriptures, right, please bring that out so we can discuss it, right? And then, that's one of the main things, because me and Brother Daniel, we want to prove to you that these secret books, they're no different than the scriptures, right? They're not a folly. They're not, they're not anything. They're something that you should believe in. Verse 11, Salakia. And also all the inhabitants of Egypt gathered all sorts of food in their stores in great abundance during the 7 good years that they did not do unto it as Joseph did. And all the food which Joseph and the Egyptians had gathered during the 7 years of plenty were secured for the land in stores for the 7 years of famine, for the support of the whole land. And the inhabitants of Egypt filled each man his store and his concealed place with corn to be for support during the famine. And Joseph called all the food, and he gathered in the cities of Egypt, and he closed all the stores and placed sentinels over them like guards, right? And Joseph's wife, Osnath, the daughter of Potiphar, bare him 2 sons, right? Manasseh and Ephraim, right? So remember now, Potiphar's wife, man, she thought that she was doing the most, and she was going to try to subdue him, but instead the Lord then granted Joseph the daughter of Potiphar's wife, right? So I know she was butthurt about that. And it says, and Potiphar bare him 2 sons, right? Manasseh and Ephraim, right? Remember later on, this is why Joseph got split into 2 half tribes. That's why when you hear when they talk about the northern kingdom, they'll tell you it's 10, where they have three tribes of the southern kingdom, Benjamin, Judah, and Levi, and then you got the other 10 tribes. The reason why you have 10 is because Joseph's tribe was split into 2 right here, Manasseh and Ephraim. They're half tribes of 1. So that's why it says 10 instead of 9. When it says, and the lads grew up, and they went in his ways and in his instructions. They did not deviate from the way which their father taught them, neither to the right or to the left, which means they kept the laws, statutes, and commandments. And the Lord was with the lads, and they grew up and had understanding and skill in all wisdom and in all affairs of government. And all the king's officers and his great men of the inhabitants of Egypt exalted the lads, and they were brought up amongst the king's children. And the 7 years of plenty were that throughout the land were at an end. And the 7 years of famine came after them, as Joseph had spoken, and the famine was throughout the land. And all the people of Egypt saw that the famine had commenced in the land of Egypt, and all the people of Egypt opened their stores of corn, for the famine prevailed over them. And they found all the food that was in their stores full of vermin and not fit to eat. And the famine prevailed throughout the land. And all the inhabitants of Egypt came and carried before Pharaoh, for the famine was heavy upon them. Which means that even though Joseph had told them, and he had deciphered the dream of the king right, and told them they needed to save up for the 7 years, some kind of way they have failed to package the wheat and the corn and the grain that they had sold and that they had saved up during the plentiful seasons. And now when the famine came upon them, it was like they had not saved up at all. Verse, all right, so you 21.
All right. And they said unto Pharaoh, give food unto thy servants, and wherefore shall we die through hunger before thy eyes, even we and our little ones? And Pharaoh answered them, saying, and if wherefore do you cry unto me? Did not Joseph command that the corn should be laid up during the 7 years of plenty for the years of famine? And wherefore did you not hearken to his voice? And the people of Egypt answered the king, saying, as thy soul liveth, our Lord, thy servants have done all that Joseph ordered. For thy servants also gathered in all the produce of their fields during the 7 years of plenty, and laid it in the storehouses unto this day. And when the famine prevailed over thy servants, we opened our stores, and behold, all our produce was filled with vermin, and was not fit for food. And when the king heard all that he had befallen the inhabitants of Egypt, the king was greatly afraid on account of the famine, and he was much terrified. And the king answered the people of Egypt, saying, since all this has happened unto you, go unto Joseph, do whatever he shall say unto you, transgress not his command. Let's go up to 26. And all the people of Egypt went forth and came unto Joseph, and said unto him, give us food, and wherefore shall we die before thee through hunger? For we gather in our produce during the 7 years as thou didst command, and we put in store, and thus has it befallen us. And when Joseph heard all the words of the people of Egypt, and what had befallen them, Joseph opened all his stores of the produce, and he sold it unto the people of Egypt. And the famine, man, and Most High did it that way.
I know that's right.
Make them come to
That's
Joseph.
right.
And the famine prevailed throughout the land, and the famine was in all countries, but in the land of Egypt there was produce for sale, and all the inhabitants of Egypt came unto Joseph to buy corn, for the famine prevailed over them, and all their corn was spoiled, and Joseph daily sold it to all the people of Egypt. So in other words, the people were trying to do the same thing that Joseph was doing, but theirs failed though. But the Most High kept Joseph's storage all fresh for this very day. And all the inhabitants of the land of Canaan and the Philistines and those beyond the Jordan and the children of the east and all the cities of the lands far and nigh heard that there was corn in Egypt, and they all came to Egypt to buy corn, for the famine prevailed over them.
Man, that just goes to show you, man, the Most High does not care about them heathens. Right? This is miraculously, everybody else's was destroyed or come to ruin, except for Joseph.
Even though
everything in his was fresh.
Even though they did exactly what Joseph told them to do, but it's like the Most High spoiled theirs and kept Joseph's preserved.
That's amazing.
So that he would get all the favor for it.
Verse 31. And Joseph opened the stores of corn and placed officers over them, and they daily stood and sold to all that came. And Joseph knew that his brethren would also come to Egypt to buy corn. Right? Good plan. For the famine prevailed throughout the earth, and Joseph commanded all his people that they should cause it to be proclaimed throughout the land of Egypt, saying, it is the pleasure of the king, of his second, and of their great men, and that any person who wishes to buy corn in Egypt shall not send his servants to Egypt to purchase, but his sons. And also any Egyptian or Canaanite who shall come from any of the stores from buying corn in Egypt and shall go and sell it throughout the land, he shall die. Right? So you can't, do what these scalpers be doing nowadays. You see, as soon as they see like the PlayStation 6 come out, they go and try to buy it up, and then they try to sell it to somebody else. Right. So it's the same thing here. If you try to buy up the corn and sell it to somebody else, you're going to get put to death. For no one shall buy it but for the support of his household. Right. So, only the grain, right, and food only for your household. That's it. You can't start buying and try to sell it to nobody else, or you get put to death. 34. And any man leading 2 or 3 beasts shall die, for a man shall only lead his own beast. Right. And Joseph placed sentinels at the gates of Egypt and commanded them, saying, any person who may come to buy corn, suffer him not to enter until his name and the name of his father and the name of his father's father be written down. And whatever is written by day, send their names unto me in the evening, that I may know their names. Understand this, right? Look how the genealogy was, right? Man, you weren't recognized unless I knew the name of your father and the name of your father's father to be written down. These days, a lot of our community, they don't know the name of their father or their father's father.
That's true.
Destroyed. And Joseph placed officers throughout the land of Egypt, and he commanded them to do all these things. And Joseph did all these things and made these statutes in order that he might know when his brethren should come to Egypt to buy corn. And Joseph's people caused it daily to be proclaimed in Egypt according to these words and statutes which Joseph had commanded. And all the inhabitants of the east and west country and of all the earth heard of the statutes and regulations which Joseph had enacted in Egypt. And the inhabitants of the extreme parts of the earth came, and they brought corn in Egypt day after day, and they went away. He said, from the extreme parts of the earth. Man. And all the officers of Egypt did as Joseph had commanded, and all came to Egypt to buy corn. The gatekeepers will write their names and their fathers' names, and daily bring them in the evening before Joseph.
That's something, man.
I know that's right. Come on. Chapter 51.
Yep. And Jacob afterwards heard that there was corn in Egypt, and he called unto his sons to go to Egypt to buy corn. Now they had no idea what they're in for. It says, for upon them also did the famine prevail. And he called unto his son, saying, behold, I hear that there is corn in Egypt, and all the people of the earth go there. He says, all the people of the earth. Dang. and all the people of the earth go there to purchase. I mean, that means you had people traveling, man, from far distances. It says, now therefore, why will you show yourselves satisfied before the whole earth? Go you also down to Egypt and buy us a little corn amongst those that come there, that we may not die. And the sons of Jacob hearkened to the voice of their father, and they rose up to go down to Egypt in order to buy corn amongst the rest that came there. And Jacob their father commanded them, saying, when you come into the city, do not enter together in one gate, on account of the inhabitants of the land. And the sons of Jacob went forth, and they went to Egypt. And the sons of Jacob did all as their father had commanded them. And Jacob did not send Benjamin, for he said, lest an accident might befall him on the road like his brother. And 10 of Jacob's sons went forth. Scroll that up there.
Gotcha, bro.
You know, it's interesting when he told him not to go to the gate all at once, because, you know, they would have been picked out. They would have been like, hey, those are spies. But Joseph, since Joseph already knew who they were, you know, they couldn't play that role. So,
and he already made the plan to get their father's names and everything else from the gate. So they, even if they tried that, man, they would have been busted, no matter what gate they went through.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what else, man? You know what else I find amazing is that the Most High don't care about all, man. This right here is another proof that the Most High does not care about any of the other nations. The Lord sent a plague on the earth just to reunite Joseph with his brothers. You understand? And to save Israel. He don't care. It said people from the far reaches of the earth came to Egypt to try to get. You understand? So the Lord killed and put a plague throughout all the land only for the cause of Israel. Just so we can get back our brother, right? Just so Joseph could get back and join with the law, statutes, and commandments, and then we could be saved.
That's right.
Man, if I was other nations, man, I would be absolutely terrified when I read the scriptures and see that the Lord just doesn't care about any of the other nations. He uses them at whim, whatever whim he feels like, to only for the benefit of Israel or only for the punishment of Israel, which is still a benefit because, you know, we got to get right.
Well, this is why the Europeans took our scriptures, man, and placed themselves in it so that they wouldn't be too fearful, so that they can make it seem like it's including them. It says, and whilst the sons of Jacob were going on the road, they repented of what they had done to Joseph, and they spoke to each other, saying, we know that our brother Joseph went down to Egypt, and now we will seek him where we go. And if we find him, we will take him from his master for a ransom, and if not, by force, and we will die for him. And the sons of Jacob agreed to this thing and strengthened themselves on account of Joseph to deliver him from the hand of his master. And the son of Jacob went to Egypt, and they came near to Egypt. They separated from each other, and they came through 10 gates of the city. And the gatekeepers wrote their names on that day and brought them to Joseph in the evening. And Joseph read the names from the hands of the gatekeepers of the city. And he found that his brethren had entered at the 10 gates of the city. And Joseph at that time commanded that it should be proclaimed throughout the land of Egypt, saying, go forth, all ye store guards, close all the corn stores, and let only one remain open, that those who come may purchase from it. And all the officers of Joseph did so at that time, and they closed all the stores and left only one open. That would force his brothers to have to come directly to him.
Facts. Good plan, Joseph.
Yeah.
And Joseph gave the written names of his brethren to him that was set over the open store. And he said unto him, whosoever shall come to thee to buy corn, ask his name. And when men of these names shall come before thee, seize them and send them. And they did so. And when the sons of Jacob came into the city, they joined together in the city to seek Joseph before they bought themselves corn. And they went to the walls of the harlots. They went to the walls of the harlots, and they thought Joseph and they sought Joseph in the walls of the harlots for 3 days. But they thought that Joseph would come in the walls of the harlots but Joseph was very comely and well-favored. I guess they forgot he was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Why would he deviate from keeping the laws and then all of a sudden be in the house of harlots? That doesn't make any sense, right? Just because they thought Joseph had looked good. That's wild. You know, simpleton mind frame, right? And the sons of Jacob sought Joseph for 3 days, and they could not find him. And the man who was set over the storehouse sought for those names which Joseph had given him, and he did not find them. And he sent to Joseph, saying, These 3 days have passed, and those men whose names didst give unto me have not come. And Joseph sent servants to seek the men in all Egypt, and to bring them before Joseph. And Joseph's servants went and came into Egypt, and could not find them, and went to Goshen, and they were not there. And then went to the city of Ramses, and could not find them. And Joseph continued to send 16 servants to seek his brothers. And they went and spread themselves in the 4 corners of the city. And the 4 of the servants went into the house of the harlots, and they found the 10 men there seeking their brother. Right? 10 men, because what? Whose brother was left home? Right? Joseph's brother was left home. Right?
Benjamin.
Joseph's brother, Benjamin. Right? Joseph's brother was left home because Jacob was like, I'm not gonna cause my wife to lose another son. You know what I mean? So it says, and those 4 men took them and brought them before him, and they bowed down to him to the ground. And Joseph was sitting upon his throne in his temple, clothed with princely garments, and upon his head was a large crown of gold, and all the mighty men were sitting around him. And the sons of Jacob saw Joseph in his figure and comeliness and dignity of countenance, seemed wonderful in their eyes, and they again bowed down to him to the ground. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but they knew him not. For Joseph was very great in their eyes, and therefore they knew him not. Right, man. It's like a Superman type of thing. Go ahead.
That's interesting because, they were talking about how if they found Joseph, they were going to deliver him, but they couldn't even tell. They didn't even know it was Joseph. They said they knew him not, but Joseph knew who they were. But because of Joseph's presence, they weren't expecting. There was no way that they were. I guarantee you, they were not expecting Joseph to be a governor. That probably was the last thing on their mind.
Facts.
Was Joseph to be sitting up there on the throne with a crown? Because they knew, man, that the heathens didn't let outsiders sit on the throne, any kind of throne. So that's what really threw them boys off too. Right. Yep. But
it's
because
Clark Kent, you'll never think Clark Kent is Superman. The same situation.
Yep. Unless you knew or something like that. But this man was made governor of all of Egypt, and that would be the last thing that his brothers would expect. His brothers are probably thinking that he's going to have rough hands and he's going to be working out in the fields, back all lashed up and stuff, nappy headed. That's what they're looking for. All right.
Thought he was in the harlot house too. Or he thought he was going to be a what's that? Hold on. What's the scripture say about what do they call men harlots?
Gigolo? Was it gigolo?
No.
Not gigolo. Well, while you thinking about it, I'll read. I'll start reading while you thinking about it. Verse 21. And Joseph spake to them, saying, From whence come ye? And they all answered and said, Thy servants have come from the land of Canaan to buy corn. For the famine prevails throughout the earth, and the servants heard that there was corn in Egypt. So they have come amongst the other comers to buy corn for their support. And Joseph answered them, saying, If ye have come to purchase as you say, why do you come through the 10 gates of the city? All right. It can only be that you have come to spy through the land. Like Joseph putting it on them, man. It says, and they all together answered Joseph and said, Not so, my lord. We are right. Thy servants are not spies, but we have come to buy corn. For thy servants are all brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And our father commanded us, saying, When you come into the city, do not enter together in one gate on account of the inhabitants of the land. And Joseph again answered them and said, That is the thing which I spoke unto you. You have come to spy to the land. Therefore, you all come through 10 gates of the city. You have come to see the nakedness of the land. Man, Joseph, boy, he putting it on them, man. They don't know what to do, man. They just like scrambling at this point. It says, surely everyone that cometh to buy corn goeth this way, and you are already 3 days in the land. And what do you do in the walls of harlots, in which you have been for these 3 days? Surely spies do like unto these things. And they said unto Joseph, far be it from our Lord to speak thus, for we are 12 brothers, the son of our father Jacob, in the land of Canaan, the son of Isaac, the son of Abraham, the Hebrew. And behold, the youngest is with our father this day in the land of Canaan, and one is not, for he was lost from us. And we thought perhaps he might be in this land. So we are seeking him throughout the land, and have come even to the house of harlots to seek him there. Why would you go to the house of but you know why they probably thought that? Because they knew that Joseph was well favored amongst the women, so they figured they probably had them all tied up there or something. There's 27.
But,
and Joseph said, go ahead.
Yeah, so a male harlot, like brother Dre P was saying, good looking, is a whoremonger, right? A whoremonger is not a male that has a whole bunch of women. This is a male that sells himself to other men and women. This is a male prostitute. That's what a whoremonger is in the scriptures. Yeah, Salakia.
And what are they off at?
You're on 27.
Okay. And Joseph said unto them, and have you then sought him throughout the earth, that there only remain Egypt for you to seek him in? And what also should your brother do in the house of harlots? Although he were in Egypt, have you not said that you are from the sons of Isaac, the sons of Abraham? And what shall the sons of Jacob do then in the house of harlots?
That's a cut.
Let's spell it. And they said unto him, because we heard that Ishmaelites stole him from us, and it was told unto us that they sold him in Egypt. And thy servant, our brother, is very comely and well favored. See, and so we thought he would surely be in the house of harlots. Therefore, thy servants were there to seek him and give ransom for him. And Joseph still answered them, saying, surely you speak falsely and under utter lies, to say of yourselves that ye are the sons of Abraham. As Pharaoh liveth, you are spies. Therefore have you come to the house of harlots, that you should not be known. They just digging themselves, man, digging themselves. It says, and Joseph said unto them, and know if you find him, and his master required of you a great price, will you give it for him? And they said, it shall be given.
Hey, man, this is ancient day gaslighting. This is ancient day gaslighting right here, one-on-one.
Probably where they get it from.
God, man, ancient day gaslighting. And he said unto them, and if his master will not consent to part with him for a great price, what would you do unto him on his account? And they answered him, saying, if he will not give him to us, we will slay him and take our brother and go away. And Joseph said unto them, that is the thing which I have spoken to you. You are spies, for you have come to slay the inhabitants of the land. For we heard that 2 of your brethren smote all the inhabitants of Shechem in the land of Canaan on the account of your sister. And now you come to do the like in Egypt on account of your brother? Only hereby, you see, man, that should be a question mark right there, right? That a punctuation. Right? That should be a question mark. That just goes, that's a mistranslation. Salakia. It says, only hereby shall I know that you are true men, if you will send home one from amongst you to fetch your youngest brother from your father, and to bring him here unto me. And by doing this thing, I will know that you are right. And Joseph called to 70 of his mighty men, and he said unto them, take these men and bring them to the ward. And the mighty men took the 10 men. They laid hold of them, and they put them in the ward. And they were in the ward for 3 days. And on the 3rd day, Joseph had them brought out of the ward, and he said unto them, do this for yourselves, if it be true men, so that you may live. One of your brethren shall be confined in the ward, while you go and take home the corn for your household to the land of Canaan, and fetch your youngest brother, and bring him here unto me, that I may know that you are true men when you do this thing. And Joseph went out from them and came into the chamber, and wept a great weeping, for his pity was excited for them. And he washed his face and returned to them. And he took Simeon from them and ordered him to be bound. But Simeon was not willing to be done so, for he was a very powerful man, and they could not bind him. And Joseph called unto his mighty men. The 70 valiant men came before him with drawn swords in their hand, and the sons of Jacob were terrified at them. And Joseph said unto them, Seize this man and confine him in prison until his brethren come to him. And Joseph, valiant man, hastened. They all laid hold on Simeon to bind him. And Simeon gave a loud and terrible shriek, and that the cry and the cry was heard at a distance. And all the valiant men of Joseph were terrified at the sound of the shriek, that they fell upon their faces, and they were greatly afraid. They were greatly afraid and fled. Man, just a yell, man, set them boys running.
A shriek. Yeah, that must have been that must have been one hell of a shriek. Make folks do that. But you know, when they were warned with Shechem, man, all that shrieking and yelling, man, it caused them to fall as well too. And all the men that were with Joseph fled, for they were greatly afraid of their lives. And only Joseph and Manasseh, his son, remained there. And Manasseh, the son of Joseph, saw the strength of Simeon, and he was exceedingly wroth. And Manasseh, the son of Joseph, rose up to Simeon, and Manasseh smote Simeon a heavy blow with his fist against the back of his neck. And Simeon was stilled of his rage.
I mean, he hit him so hard, he called him to calm down.
Yeah. And Manasseh laid hold of Simeon, and he seized him violently, and he bound him and brought him into the house of confinement. And all the sons of Jacob were astonished at the act of the youth. Because remember, man, they come from the line of Joseph now.
Yeah, remember, they were like Supermen.
Yeah. And Simeon said unto his brethren, None of you must say that this is the smiting of an Egyptian, but it's the smiting of the house of my father.
Meaning that he knew it was the power of his family, of his bloodline, that when he felt it.
And after this, Joseph ordered him to be called, who was set over the storehouse, and to fill their sacks with corn as much as they could carry, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provisions for the road. And thus did he unto them. Let's scroll to 46. Here you go. And Joseph commanded them, saying, Take heed, lest you transgress my orders to bring your brother as I have told you. And it shall be when you bring your brother hither unto me, then will I know that you are true men, and ye shall traffic in the land, and I will restore unto you your brother, and you shall return in peace to your father. And they all answered and said, According as our Lord speaketh, so will we do. And they bowed down to him to the ground. And every man lifted his corn upon his ass, and they went out unto the land of Canaan to their father. And they came to the end of Levi, spread his sack to give provision to his ass. When he saw and behold, his money in full weight was still in his sack. Joseph set him up, man. And the man was greatly afraid, and he said unto his brethren, My money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And the men were greatly afraid, and they said, What is this that God hath done unto us? It says, and they all said, And where is the Lord's kindness with our father, with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that the Lord has this day delivered us into the hands of the kings of Egypt to contrive against us? So man, they try to figure out what's going on. But
man, they know what's going on.
Yeah, the Most High was setting them up the whole time.
Yeah. You want to finish reading that? It goes to 54.
Oh, sure,
right?
No problem.
But I don't understand. Like, man, this is the kind of stuff that we gotta avoid, right? It says in Jacob, why are they getting, why is the Lord against them? Man, you sold your brother into captivity.
Exactly.
Why you think the Lord against you?
Yeah, man. Don't put that on the hands of most.
Yeah, that's why they over there in the first place. looking for their brother, try to find him before the Lord gets a hold of them, and they know what time it is.
Yeah. All that guilt, man, all these years. You can't put that on the table of the Most High, man. You did that. You did that stuff to yourselves.
God, Brother Lawrence. Joseph had them sweating hard. God, that's right.
Yep. And Judah said unto them, surely we are guilty sinners before the Lord our God, in having sold our brother, our own flesh, and wherefore do we say, wherefore is the Lord's kindness with our father? And Reuben said unto them, said I not unto you, do not this sin against the land, and you would not listen to me. Now God required him from us. And how dare you say, where is the Lord's kindness with our father, which you have sinned unto the Lord? That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah, this reminds you, we all got to be careful we put at the Most High's table, because majority of the times we bring stuff on ourselves, and yet we want to blame the Most High. It says, and they tarried overnight in that place, and they rose up early in the morning and ladded their asses with their corn, and they led them and went out and came to their father's house in the land of Canaan. And Jacob and his household went out to meet his sons. And Jacob saw, and behold, their brother Simeon was not with them. And Jacob said unto his sons, where is your brother Simeon, whom I do not see? And his sons told him all that had befallen them in Egypt. And Egypt was subdued by Manasseh. Boy, Manasseh hit that joker upside the neck so hard, man, that he calmed him down and bound him up.
Oh, man,
what's funny?
Another thing I wanted to bring back, looking what my old man is saying right here about the, how Joseph was having that dream when he was 17. Remember, he was still in his father's house then, right? And remember, the dream was so far away, right? And that was after the the famine and all of that. So that just goes to show you how far down the line that the Lord had already. Well, what we already know, this stuff was supposed to happen before the earth was created. But still, though, it just goes to show you that the Lord had already had this stuff already planned out for them folks to die, just on the account of Israel. Chapter 52. And they entered their house, and every man opened his sack, and they saw, and behold, every man's bundle of money was there, at which they and their father were greatly terrified. And Jacob said unto them, what is this that you have done to me? I sent your brother Joseph to inquire after your welfare, and you said unto me, a wild beast did devour him. And Simeon went to you to buy food, and you say the king of Egypt hath confined him in prison? And you wish to take Benjamin to cause his death also, and bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave on account of Benjamin and his brother Joseph? Hey, listen, man. Hey, man, they are. Hey, imagine how much stuff Jacob is going through. He's like, man, you niggas, y'all just can't get it right. I done sent y'all to Egypt, man. Now you done got your brother kidnapped by the king. I done had your brother out with you. You talking about something? He done got killed by a wild beast. I mean, man, what is y'all doing? Jacob was mad at his sons, man. They just couldn't get right. Ever since they had let their brother get, kidnapped. Well, ever since they was hating on their brother about that coat. And now, therefore, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone, and mischief may befall him by the way in which you go, as it befell his brother. And Reuben said unto his father, thou shalt slay my two sons if I do not bring thy son and place him before thee. And Jacob said unto his sons, abide ye here, and do not go down to Egypt, for my son shall not go down with you to Egypt, nor die like his brother. And Judah said unto him and unto them, refrain ye from him until the corn is finished, and he will say, take down your brother, when he will find his own life and the life of his household in danger from the famine. In those days the famine was sore throughout the land, and all the people of the earth went and came to Egypt to buy food, for the famine prevailed greatly amongst them. And the sons of Jacob remained in Canaan 1 year and 2 months until their corn was finished. Oh man, so they left old boy there, right? And it came to pass that after their corn was finished, the whole household of Jacob was pinched in hunger. And all the infants of the sons of Jacob came together, and they approached Jacob. All the infants of the sons of Jacob came together, and they approached Jacob. And they all surrounded him, and they said unto him, Give unto us bread, wherefore shall we all perish through hunger in thy presence? Jacob heard the words of his son's children, and he wept a great weeping, and his pity was roused for them. And Jacob called unto his sons that they all came and sat before him. Right? Understand, right? This is where, this right here is a cold example of how men are supposed to provide for their families. Right? The sons, even if Jacob is the elder, he's the greatest of the men that's there. He has sons, and the sons even have wives and their children. But at the end of the day, they came to approach the elder.
You know what they're truly doing is for the Most High put the spirits on those infants to do that. Why? Because remember what Jacob said, I would not send Benjamin. Now you got to understand that this is in the Most High's plan. So, the Most High is forcing the hand of Jacob here by using those infants to speak. And you're going to see what's going to happen, because think about it. If it wasn't for that, Jacob would have remained stubborn. So the Most High says, okay, I'm going to use these infants because I'm going to force your hand, and everything's going to happen according to my plan.
That's right.
All right, go ahead.
He said he wept a great weeping, right? Which means that he was feeling bad because he couldn't take care of his family, right? Protect and provide. And his pity was roused for them. And Jacob called unto his sons, and they all came and sat before him. And Jacob said unto them, have you not seen how your children have been weeping over me this day, saying, give unto us bread, and there is none? Now, therefore, return and buy for us a little food.
All righty. Verse 11. And Judah answered and said unto his father, if thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy corn for thee. And if thou would not send him, then we will not go down. For surely the king of Egypt particularly enjoyed us, saying, ye shall not see my face unless your brother be with you. For the king of Egypt is a strong and mighty king. And behold, if we shall go with him without our brother, we shall all be put to death. It says, dost thou not know, and hast thou not heard that this king is very powerful and wise, and there is not like unto him in all the earth? Behold, we have seen all the kings of the earth, and we have not seen one like the king of kings of Egypt. And surely amongst all the kings of the earth, there is none greater than Abimelech, king of the Philistines. Yet the king of Egypt is greater and mightier than he, and Abimelech can only be compared to one of his officers. It says, Father, thou hast not seen this palace and the throne, and all the servants standing before him. Thou hast not seen the king upon his throne, in his prompt and royal appearance, dressed in his kingly robes, with a large golden crown upon his head. Thou hast not seen the honor and glory which God has given unto him, for there is not like unto him in all the earth. Let's scroll that up to.
Not like him in all the earth.
Father, thou hast not seen the wisdom, the understanding, and the knowledge which God hath given in his heart, nor heard his sweet voice when he speaks unto us. We know not, Father, who made him acquainted with our names and all that befall us. Yet he asks also after thee, saying, is your father still living and is well with him? And I bet you, man, at this point, Joseph started to wonder, Jacob probably was like thinking like, okay, what is this? Verse 16. And thou hast not seen the affairs of the government of Egypt regulated by him. Without inquiring of Pharaoh, his lord, thou hast not seen the awe and fear which he impressed upon all of Egypt, with all of the Egyptians. And also, when he went from him, we threatened to do unto Egypt, unto the rest of the cities and the Amorites. And we were exceedingly wroth against all his words, which he spake concerning us as spies. And now, when we shall again come before him, and his terror will fall upon us all, and not one of us will be able to speak to him either a little or a great thing. Now, therefore, Father, send, we pray thee, the lad with us, and we will go down and buy thee food for our support, and not die through hunger. And Jacob said, why have you dealt so ill with me to tell the king you had a brother? What is this thing that you have done unto me? Yo, yo.
I hear
you. All right. And Judah said unto Jacob his father, give the land into my care, and we will rise up and go down to Egypt, and to buy corn, then return, and it shall be when we return, if the land be not with us. Then let me bear thy blame forever. Hast thou seen all our infants weeping over thee through hunger, and there is no power in thy hand to satisfy them? Now let thy pity be aroused for them, and send our brother with us, and we will go.
No, that's right.
That's working his heart right here. It's pricking at him. And you know what really got him, man, was probably those infants, you know.
That's right. Responsibility, right? That responsibility that you have to your family. That's what God and the Lord played on that.
Mm-hmm.
It says, verse 21, for how will the Lord's kindness to our ancestors be manifest to thee when thou sayest that the king of Egypt will take away thy son? As the Lord liveth, I will not leave him until I bring him and place him before thee. But pray for us unto the Lord that he may deal kindly with us, to cause us to be received favorably and kindly before the king of Egypt and his men. For had we not delayed, surely now we had returned a second time with thy son. And Jacob said unto his sons, I trust in the Lord God that he may deliver you and give you favor in the sight of the king of Egypt and in the sight of all his men. Now therefore rise up and go to the man and take him in your hands as a present for what can be obtained in the land, and bring it to me, and bring it before him. And may the Almighty God give you mercy before him, that he may send Benjamin and Simeon, your brethren, with you. And all the men rose up, and they took their brother Benjamin, and they took in their hands a large present of the best of the land. And they also took a double portion of silver. And Jacob strictly commanded his sons concerning Benjamin, saying, take heed of him in the way in which you are going, and do not separate yourselves from him in the road, neither in Egypt. Right? He wasn't playing. Hey man, watch over your brother. I don't want nothing to happen to him like you done let already happen to his other brother and Simeon. And Jacob rose up from his sons and spread forth his hands, and he prayed unto the Lord on the account of his sons, saying, O Lord God of heaven and earth, remember thy covenant with our father Abraham. Remember it with my father Isaac, and deal kindly with my sons, and deliver them not into the hands of the king of Egypt. Do it, I pray thee, O God, for the sake of thy mercies, and redeem all my children, and rescue them from Egyptian power, and send them to their two brothers. And all the wives of the sons of Jacob and their children lifted up their eyes to heaven, and they all wept before the Lord, and cried unto him to deliver their fathers from the hand of the king of Egypt. Man, you see how serious this is, right? This is how we're supposed to be praying to get the hell up out of America. Right? And Jacob wrote a record to the king of Egypt and gave it into the hand of Judah and into the hand of the sons for the king of Egypt, saying, from thy servant Jacob, son of Isaac, son of Abraham, the Hebrew, the prince of God. The prince of God. That's right. Right, because the prince of the power, right, is which is why his name is Israel, right? That's what the name means, is prince of the power, right? AKA the prince of God, to the powerful and wise king, the revealer of secrets, king of Egypt, greeting. Be it known to my lord, the king of Egypt, the famine was sore upon us in the land of Canaan. And I sent my sons to thee to buy us a little food from thee for our support. All right.
That's right. All right, verse 31. For my sons surrounded me, and I'm being very old, cannot see with my eyes, for my eyes have become very heavy through age, as well as with daily weeping for my son. Man, I imagine only the stress, man. He probably had all kinds of gray hairs by the time this happened. For Joseph, who was lost from before me, and I commanded my sons that they should not enter the gates of the city when they came to Egypt, on account of the inhabitants of the land. And I also commanded them to go about Egypt to seek for my son Joseph. Perhaps they might find him there. And they did so, and thou didst consider them as spies of the land. Have we not heard concerning thee that thou didst interpret Pharaoh's dream, and didst speak truly unto him? How then dost thou not know in thy wisdom whether my sons are spies or not? Now therefore, my lord and king, behold, I have sent my son before thee. As thou didst speak unto my sons, I beseech thee to put thy eyes upon him until he is returned to me in peace with his brother. I'll scroll that up to 35.
Got you, my brother.
All right. For dost thou not know, or hast thou not heard that which our God did unto Pharaoh when he took my brother Sarah, and what he did unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, on account of her, and also what our father Abraham did unto 9 kings of Elam, how he smote them all with a few men that were with him, and also that my 2 sons Simeon and Levi did unto the 8 cities of the Amorites, how they destroyed them on account of their sister Dinah, and also on account of their brother Benjamin. They consoled themselves for one loss of his brothers Joseph. What will they then do for him when they see the hand of any people prevailing over them, for his sake? Dost thou not know, O king of Egypt, that the power of God is with us, and that also God ever heareth our prayers and forsaketh us not all the days? And when my sons told me of the dealings with them, I called not unto the Lord on account of thee, for then thou wouldest have perished with the men before my son Benjamin came before thee. But I thought that as Simeon my son was in the house, perhaps thou mightest deal kindly with him. Therefore I did not this thing unto thee.
I'm gonna scroll up to 40. All right,
Yep.
man. It goes to 42.
Is that it?
You might as well finish it out.
Yeah, I'll finish that. Yep. It says, now therefore, behold, Benjamin, my son, cometh unto thee with my sons. Take heed of him, and put thy eyes upon him. And then will God place his eyes over thee and throughout thy kingdom. Now I have told thee all that is in my heart, and behold, my sons are coming to thee with their brother. Examine the face of the whole earth for their sake, and send them back in peace with their brethren. And Jacob gave the record of his sons into the care of Judah, to give it unto the king of Egypt. Because remember, Judah would be chosen. You know, he kind of taking the place of the firstborn because of what Reuben did. You know, laying with the man's wife, man. That's crazy.
But it's funny though, because if you read the letter, right, on the low, Jacob is really threatening him. He said, "Don't remember now, the Lord's on our side. Remember what happened when we went through Shechem. Remember what happened when we went through Canaan. You know what I'm saying, man? We destroyed everybody. So, hey, man, you know, I'm trying to be nice here. I want you to get my son back. I would have to do the same thing to you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Not knowing that he's talking to his own son, which is funny.
Yeah.
And the sons of Jacob rose up and took Benjamin and the whole of the presents, and they went and came to Egypt, and they stood before Joseph. And Joseph beheld his brother Benjamin with them, and he saluted them. And these men came to Joseph's house, and Joseph commanded the superintendent of his house to give to his brethren to eat, and he did so unto them. And at the noontime, Joseph sent for the men to come before him with Benjamin. And the men told the superintendent of Joseph's house concerning the silver that was returned to their sacks. And he said unto them, it will be well with you, fear not. And he brought their brother Simeon unto them. And Simeon said unto his brethren, the Lord of the Egyptians has acted very kindly unto me. He did not keep me bound, as you saw with your eyes, for when you went out of the city, he let me free and dealt kindly with me in his house. And Judah took Benjamin by the hand, and they came before Joseph, and they bowed down to him on the ground. Now remember, man, Simeon was in there for a year and some change, right? So he was just chilling with his brother for a long time. I guess he still didn't realize who he was. It was wow, right? And the men gave the president to Joseph, and they all sat before him. And Joseph said unto him, it is well with you. It is well with your children. It is well with your aged father. And they said, it is well. And Judah took the record which Jacob had sent and gave it to the hand of Joseph. And Joseph read the letter. He knew his father's writing, and he wished to weep. And he went into a corner of the room, and he wept a great weeping as he went out. Right, so he was hiding his tears, in other words, because he didn't want his brothers to see that letter affect him in that manner, because then they'll know something was up. And he lifted up his eyes and he beheld his brother Benjamin. And he said, "Is this your brother of whom you've spoken to me?" And Benjamin approached Joseph, and Joseph placed his hand upon his head, and he said unto him, "May God be gracious unto thee, my son." And when Joseph saw his brother, the son of his mother, he again wished to weep, and he entered the chamber, and he wept there. And he washed his face and went out and refrained from weeping. And he said, "Prepare food." All right, I'll take over 11.
All right. And Joseph had a cup, and Joseph had a cup from which he had drank, and it was the silver beautiful, inlaid with onyx stones and beryl. Man, that was one beautiful cup. And Joseph
onyx
struck
and
the
beryl?
cup.
What?
Yeah. Joseph struck the cup in the sight of his brethren, whilst they were sitting to eat with him. And Joseph said unto the men, "I know by this cup that Reuben, the firstborn, Simeon and Levi, and Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun are the children from one mother. Seat yourselves to eat according to your births." Man, he was like, he made them think, man, it was some kind of magic cup. He struck it too to make it seem like they give it like a vibration or something.
Yeah.
Oh man. And
I know by this cup. That's funny, man. That's funny.
And he also placed the others according to their births. And he said, "I know that this your youngest brother has no brother, and I, like him, have no brother. He shall therefore sit down to eat with me." And Benjamin went up before Joseph and sat upon the throne. And the men beheld the act of Joseph, and they were astonished at them. And the men ate and drank at that time with Joseph. And he then gave presents unto them. And Joseph gave one gift unto Benjamin. And Manasseh and Ephraim saw the acts of their father, and they also gave presents unto him. And Osnath gave him one present, and they were 5 presents in the hand of Benjamin. All right, let's scroll up there.
Man, that's why I love reading these stories, man, because they give you a little more context of what's going on in the scriptures.
Yep. And Joseph brought them out wine to drink. Man, I bet you that was some strong wine back in those days.
You know, that's right.
And
But
they would not drink.
Cup,
I know.
I can't get over, man. I mean, man, you don't see that nowadays, man. You don't see those kinds of cups, glass, and I mean, just imagine the kind of craftsmanship have going or something like Bedallion and onyx. Man, that is that's high class right there. So,
yep. And they would not drink. And they said, "From the day on which Joseph was lost, we have not drunk wine, nor eaten any delicacies." And Joseph swore unto them, and he pressed them hard, and they drank plentiful with them on that day. And Joseph afterwards turned to his brother Benjamin to speak with him, and Benjamin was still sitting upon the throne before Joseph. And Joseph said unto him, "Hast thou begotten any children?" And he said, "Thy servants have 10 sons, and these are their names: Bela, Becher, Ashbal, Gera, Naaman, Achi, Rosh, Mupin, Chophim, and Ord.
Chupin. Mupin, Chupin, and Ord.
And then I called their names after my brother, whom I have not seen." And he said, and he ordered them to bring before him his map of the stars, whereby Joseph knew all the times. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, "I have heard that the Hebrews are acquainted with all wisdom. Dost thou know anything of this?"
I'm gonna scroll this up, but this is tough right here, Israel. Pay attention, right, to the powers we used to have.
And I think that's verse 19. Yep, verse 19. Yep. Let's scroll up to 19.
You can't. All right. No.
Is that all of? Yeah.
No. But I thought you could see it.
Okay. And Benjamin said,
"What's wrong?"
You see it now.
Yeah, I know. So I left it where it was. Yeah, all right, there it is.
It says, "And Benjamin said, Thy servant is knowing also in this wisdom which my father taught me. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, Look now at this instrument, and understand where thy brother Joseph is in Egypt, who you say went down to Egypt. And Benjamin beheld that instrument with the map of the stars of heaven, and he was wise, and looked thereon to know where his brother was. And Benjamin divided the whole land of Egypt into 4 divisions. And he found that he who was sitting upon the throne before him was his brother Joseph. Now that's powerful.
Oh, what?
And Benjamin wondered greatly. And when Joseph saw that his brother Benjamin was so much astonished, he said unto Benjamin, "What hast thou seen, and why art thou astonished?"
Man, Israel, this is powerful, right? Because not only that, you got to think about this is so old, and they had a map of all the stars, and they knew how to read it, right? So one of our ancestors, right? There was a, they sat there and they mapped out all the stars and the rotation and all. I mean, this is a whole wisdom that probably, that we don't have today, right? Maybe the heathen, I don't know, man. Who knows if this technology is gone. Verse 21. And Benjamin said unto Joseph, I can see by this that Joseph, my brother, sitteth here with me upon the throne. Right. So he was able to look upon the chart and upon the star chart and see that Benjamin was his brother. You know what I mean? That's amazing. Like, how are you able to do that? You know what I mean? And Joseph said unto him, I am Joseph, thy brother. Reveal not this thing unto thy brethren. Behold, I will send thee with them when they go away, and I will command them to be brought back again into the city, and I will take thee away from them. And if they dare their lives and fight for thee, then shall I know that they have repented of what they did unto me, and I will make myself known to them. If they forsake thee when I take thee, then shalt thou remain with me, and I will wrangle with them, and they shall go away, and I will not become known to them. Right? So if they fight, right? If they fight for Benjamin, then it proves that they repented. And if they just let Benjamin get kidnapped and not and don't do anything, then he was like, well, I'm bump my brothers, man. They ain't repented yet, and they're not really sorry that they had sold me away. Verse 23. At that time, Joseph commanded his officer to fill their sacks with food, and to put each man's money into his sack, and to put the cup in the sack of Benjamin, and to give them provision for the road, and they did so unto them. And on the next day, the men rose up early in the morning, and they loaded their asses with their corn, and they went forth with Benjamin, and they went to the land of Canaan with their brother Benjamin. And they had not gone far from Egypt when Joseph commanded them that was set over his house, saying, Rise, pursue these men before they get too far from Egypt, and say unto them, Why have you stolen my master's cup? Right, this is going to be the onyx and the bdellium one, I'm guessing. Right, and Joseph's officer rose up, and he reached them, and he spoke unto them all the words of Joseph. And when they heard this thing, they became exceedingly wroth. And they said, He with whom my master's cup shall be found shall die, and he will also become slaves. And they hastened to each man brought down his sack from his ass, and they looked in their bags, and the cup was found in Benjamin's bag. And they all tore their garments and returned to the city, and they smote Benjamin in the road. Hey, they didn't want to believe Benjamin, man. They didn't want to hear that. I didn't take it. I didn't take it. They go, man, I dare you.
But
right?
Benjamin already knew what was going on, though. He just had to play the role,
Facts. And they smote Benjamin in the road, continually smiting him until they came into the city, and they stood before Joseph. And Judah's anger was kindled, and he said, This man has only brought me back to destroy Egypt this day. And the men came to Joseph's house, and they found Joseph sitting in his throne, and all his mighty men standing at his right and left. And Joseph said unto them, What is this act that you have done, that you have took away my silver cup and went away? But I know that you took my cup in order to know thereby in what part of the land your brother was. Right? Because remember, the cup was given, he was lying and said that the cup had gave him special powers to know, which one of them was born first, which is Reuben. Right. So he tried to take the soul. So he's trying to convince. So he's trying to say that, they took the cup in order to use his powers to find out where their brother was. All right. Which you do not get in the 66 books. But now you understand, like, what was the, why it was the cup that was stolen and why he tried to plant it on him. And Judah said, What shall we say to our Lord? And what shall we speak? And how shall we justify ourselves? God has this day found the iniquity in all thy servants. Therefore, he has done this thing to us this day. And Joseph rose up.
Were you at 31?
Yeah. It's only 32 verses.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Therefore, he has done this thing unto us this day. And Joseph rose up and caught hold of Benjamin and took him from his brethren with violence. And he came to the house and locked the door at him. And Joseph commanded him that was set over his house that he should say unto them, thus saith the king, go in peace to your father. Behold, I have taken the man in whose hand my cup was found. Man, how in the world you gonna go in peace to your father after you done, snatched your brother up, man? You already know what time it is. All right,
that's funny, man. And when Judah saw the dealings of Joseph with them, Judah approached him and broke open the door. Judah, man. Yeah. Hey, I can just see that right now, man. That door, the locks flying off and everything, man, and came in with his brother before Joseph. And Judah said unto Joseph, let it be seen, let it not be seen grievously in the sight of my Lord. May thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word before thee. And Joseph said unto him, speak. And Judah spoke before Joseph. Now, Judah was holding back big time, boy.
Yeah.
And his brethren were there standing before them. And Judah said unto Joseph, surely when we first came to our Lord to buy food, thou didst consider us as spies of the land, and we brought Benjamin before thee, and thou still makest sport of us this day. Now therefore let the king hear my words, and send, I pray thee, our brother that may be gone along with us to our father, lest thy soul perish this day with all the souls of the heavens of Egypt.
You don't give our brother back, everybody dying. Like,
yep, he said, look, he says, I might die too, but everybody else is gonna die. He says, dost thou not know what two of my brethren, Simeon and Levi, did unto the city of Shechem and unto 7 cities of the Amorites on account of our sister Dinah, and also what they would do for the sake of their brother Benjamin. And I with my strength, whom am greater and mightier than both of them, come this day upon thee in thy land, if thou art willing to send our brother. It says, hast thou not heard what our God, who had made choice of us unto Pharaoh on account of Sarah, our mother, whom he took away from our father, that he smote him and his households with heavy plagues. This is why we should always remember, the blessings the Most High has brought us through, because when you think back on these things, this is what gives Most High's praise, It says, then even unto this day, the Egyptians relate this wonder to each other. So will our God do unto thee on account of Benjamin, who thou hast this day taken from his father, on account of the evils which thou hast this day heapest over us in thy land. For our God will remember his covenant with our father Abraham, and bring evil upon thee, because thou hast grieved the soul of our father this day. Now therefore hear my words that I have this day spoken unto thee, and send our brother that he may go away, lest thou and thy people of thy land die by the sword, for you cannot all prevail over me.
Man.
Man.
Back in these days, man, like the pride of our people, because, man, we're obeying the God, and our resume for destroying the other lands that was wicked. Like, they knew the Israel to be righteous, boy. They know that the sons of Jacob, Isaac, Abraham, they knew that those were the righteous, those were righteous. But now, man, it's hard to feel that same, today than it was, because, you look around and you'll be like, man, what's going on, man?
Man, we generation, man. No fathers in the home, nothing, man. How can you build a nation from that? Verse 9, and Joseph answered Judah, saying, why hast thou opened wide thy mouth, and why dost thou boast over us, saying, strength is with thee? As Pharaoh liveth, if I command all my valiant men to fight with you, surely thou and these thy brothers would sink into the mire. And Judah said unto Joseph, surely it becometh thee and thy people to fear me, as the Lord liveth. If I once draw my sword, I shall not sheath it again until I shall this day have slain all Egypt. And I will commence with thee and finish with Pharaoh thy master. Oh, man, Judah wasn't playing, man. Judah was serious.
I will commence with thee and finish with Pharaoh. Dog, boy, Yeah, Judah
he
talking
said that-
big boy stuff.
He said that. Yeah, he said after he didn't he realize talking to his brother. After I
That's
finish
right.
you, man, I'm going to come after Pharaoh.
And Joseph answered and said unto him, surely strength belongeth not alone to thee. I am stronger and mightier than thou. Surely, if thou drawest thy sword, I will put it to thy neck and the necks of all thy brethren. And Judah said unto him, surely if this day open my mouth against thee, I will swallow thee up, as thou be destroyed from off the earth, and perish this day from thy kingdom. And Joseph said, surely if thou openest, they talking trash back and forth to each other, right? And Joseph said, surely if thou openest thy mouth, I have power and might to close thy mouth with a stone until thou shalt not be able to utter a word. See how many stones are before us. Truly, I can take a stone and force it into thy mouth and break thy jaws. Hey, man, this is, I mean, back in the, I mean, man, who says that stuff these days? And you don't shut about stuff a stone in your mouth and break your jaw with it. That's just crazy.
Brothers,
yeah.
Who talks the most noise these days, man?
Yeah.
Man.
This big boy crap talking.
We talk the most noise, man. You look at Michael Jordan, man. I used to talk noise, but he used to back that stuff up too, though, man.
All day.
He'll shut you up all day long.
Verse 13. And Judah said, God is witness between us, that we have not hereto desired to battle with thee. Only give us our brother, and we will go from thee. And Joseph answered and said, as Pharaoh liveth, if all the kings of Canaan came together with you, you should not take him from my hand. Now, therefore, go your way to your father, and your brother shall be unto me for a slave. Whoa. For he has robbed the king's house. And Judah said, what is it to thee or to the character of the king? Surely the king sendeth forth from house to house throughout the land, silver and gold, either in gifts or expenses. And thou still talkest about thy cup, which thou didst place in our brother's bag, and sayest that it was he that had stolen it from thee. God forbid that our brother Benjamin or any of the seed of Abraham should do this thing to steal from thee, or from anyone else, brother king, prince, or any man. All right, so he got his brother's back. All right. For therefore cease this accusation, lest the whole earth hear thy words, saying, for a little silver the king of Egypt wrangled with the men, and he accused them and took their brother for a slave. And Joseph answered and said, take unto you this cup and go from me, and leave your brother for a slave, for it is the judgment of a thief to be a slave. And Judah said, why art thou not ashamed at thy words, to leave our brother and to take thy cup? Surely if thou givest thy cup, or 1,000 times as much, we will not leave our brother for the silver which is found in the hand of any man, that we will not die over him. Now y'all see what Joseph is doing, right? Right? Because the cup is a material gain, and what they sell him for, right? 20 pieces of silver. Verse 19. If Joseph answered, why did you forsake your brother and sell him for 20 pieces of silver unto this day? And why then will they not do the same to your brother? And Judah said, the Lord's witness between me and thee, that we desire not thy battles. Therefore, give us our brother, and we will go from thee without quarreling. Go ahead. And you'll see, man, he's starting to make Judah mad. He's starting to rouse him up.
Yeah, they still talking noise, though, man. And Joseph answered and said, if all the kings of the land should assemble, they will not be able to take your brother from my hand. And Judah said, what shall we say unto our father when he seeth that our brother cometh not with us, and we will grieve over him? And Joseph answered and said, this is the thing which you will tell your father, saying, the rope has gone after the bucket. Damn. Oh, man. And Judah said, surely thou art a king, and why speakest thou these things, giving a false judgment? Woe unto the king who was like unto thee. They knew what that meant. They knew what that rope has gone after the bucket. They knew what that meant. And Joseph answered and said, there is no false judgment in the word that I spoke on account of your brother Joseph. For all of you sold him to the Midianites for 20 pieces of silver, and you all denied it to your father and said unto him, an evil beast has devoured him. Joseph has been torn to pieces. And Judah said, behold, the fire of Shem burneth in my heart. Now I will burn all your land with fire. And Joseph answered and said, surely thy sister-in-law Tamar, who killed your sons, extinguished the fire of Shechem. Joseph, hey man, he already knows the history, you know.
Just so y'all know, like the rope going out to the bucket. Let's say, for example, if you're drawing water, right, and you end up losing the rope, right? The rope is going out to the bucket, right? The rope and the bucket at the bottom of the well, you can no longer retrieve it. And that's like an old saying from back in the day, right?
Yeah, cutting off. He was going to cut off your children, cut off your sons.
It would be lost.
Yep. And Judah said, "If I pluck out a single hair from my flesh, I will fill all Egypt with his blood." And Joseph answered and said, "Such is your custom to do as you did to your brother who you sold, and you dipped his coat in blood and brought it to your father in order that he might say an evil beast devoured him, and here is his blood." You know, Judah's so mad, like he can't even comprehend what's going on here.
No, he comprehend that.
Yeah, he had to, man. But at this point, and when Judah heard this thing, at this point, you know, says, and when Judah heard this thing, he was exceedingly wroth, and his anger burned within him. And there was before him in that place a stone, the weight of which about 400 shekels. And that's a lot.
Yeah.
And Judah's anger was kindled, and he took the stone in one hand and cast it into the heavens, and caught it with his left hand, and he placed it afterwards under his legs, and he sat upon it with all his strength, and the stone was turned into dust from the force of Judah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. And Joseph saw the act of Judah, and he was very much afraid. But he commanded Manasseh, his son, and he also did with another stone like unto the act of Judah.
Well, hold on.
Judah said,
"How high did he throw that stone up? Because that's like it says a 12-pound, well, almost 12 pounds.
Well, it says it was weight of 400 shekels, though. So
Yeah. What I'm saying, the weight of 400 shekels is like a 10-pound weight. That's heavy.
Yeah. And Joseph saw the act of Judah and was very much afraid. But he commanded Manasseh, his son, and he also did with another stone like unto the act of Judah. And Judah said unto his brethren, Let not any of you say, This man is Egyptian, but by his doing this thing, he is of our father's family. Oh, man.
I ain't playing no games out here.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 31, and Joseph said, Not to you only is strength given, for we are also powerful men. And why will you boast over us all? And Judah said unto Joseph, Send, I pray thee, our brother, and ruin not thy country this day. And Joseph answered and said unto them, Go and tell your father, an evil beast has devoured him, as you said concerning your brother Joseph. And Joseph spoke to his brother Naphtali and said unto him, Make haste, go now and number all the streets of Egypt, and come and tell me. And Simeon said unto him, Let not this thing be a trouble to thee. Now I will go and mount and take up one large stone from the mount and level it at everyone in Egypt and kill all that are in it. And Joseph heard all these words, and his brethren spoke before him, and they did not know that Joseph understood them, for they imagined that he knew not to speak Hebrew. And Joseph was greatly afraid at the words of his brethren. Hey, man, you know, that's just like how the Mexicans be coming up to you and you don't know how to speak Spanish, and they be talking about you and they be saying all that kind of stuff. It's the same kind of thing that's going on right here.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I wish we knew our tongue. Man, we could be, you know, speaking our own language in front of these heathens. They can never understand what's going on. Right? And Joseph heard all these words, and his brethren spoke before him, and they did not know that Joseph understood them, for they imagined that he knew not to speak Hebrew. And Joseph was greatly afraid at the words of his brethren, lest they should destroy Egypt, and commanded his son Manasseh, saying, Go now, make haste, and gather unto me all the inhabitants of Egypt, and all the valiant men together, and let them come to me now upon horseback and on foot, and with all sorts of musical instruments. Manasseh went and did so. Naphtali went as Judah had commanded him, for Naphtali was light-footed as one of the swift stags, and he would go upon the ears of corn that they would not break under him. Man, this man was a super athlete, right? He could walk on the top of corn stalks. He could run on top of corn stalks and they wouldn't break under him. That's super light. That's some superhero stuff, right? And he went and numbered all the streets of Egypt and found them to be 12. And he came hastily and told Judah. And Judah said unto his brethren, Hasten, you put on every man his sword upon his loins, and we will come over to Egypt and smite them all, and let not a remnant remain. And Judah said, Behold, I will destroy thee of the streets with my strength, and you shall each destroy. Man, imagine how strong you got to be confident in your brothers. That you be like, I'll put each of my brothers on one street, and we'll destroy everything. I will destroy 3 of the streets with my strength. Oh, he said he gonna destroy 3 by his own self. And you each shall destroy each one street. And when Judah was speaking this thing, behold, the inhabitants of Egypt and all the mighty men came toward them with all sorts of musical instruments and with loud shouting. And their number was 500 cavalry and 10,000 infantry and 400 men who could fight without sword or spear, only with their hands and strength, pugilist. Right. And all the mighty men came with great storming and shouting, and they all surrounded the sons of Jacob and terrified them, and the ground quaked at the sound of their shouting.
And when the sons of Jacob saw these troops, they were greatly afraid of their lives, and Joseph did so in order to terrify the sons of Jacob to become tranquilized. And Judah, seeing some of his brethren terrified, said unto them, why are you afraid, whilst the grace of God is with us? And when Judah saw all the people of Egypt surrounding them at the command of Joseph to terrify them, only Joseph commanded them, saying, do not touch any of them. Then Judah hastened and drew his sword and uttered a loud and bitter scream. And he smote with his sword, and he sprang up upon the ground, and he still continued to shout against all the people. And when he did this thing, the Lord caused the terror of Judah and his brothers to fall upon the valiant men and all the people that surrounded them. And they all fled at the second. Hold on. Dang. Where am I at? Made me lose my place now.
Hey, the same spot. It didn't move, did it?
No, it moved. Yeah, it jumped up. It says, and when did I do up 44? Hold on.
Nah, you on 45 now.
Okay. And they all fled. Yeah, that thing jumped up a little bit. And they all fled at the sound of the shouting, and they were terrified and fell upon the other. And many of them died as they fell, and they all fled from before Judah and from before Joseph. Dang, left hanging. And whilst they were fleeing, Judah and his brethren pursued them unto the house of Pharaoh. And they all escaped, and Judah again sat before Joseph and roared at him like a lion and gave a great and tremendous shriek at him. Probably why they called Judah the Judah lion.
Facts. The Lion of Judah. Hey, he jumping up and down, acting a fool, man, banging the shit. Let's go.
Yeah. And the shriek was heard at a distance, and all the inhabitants of Succoth heard it, and all of Egypt quaked at the sound of the shriek, and also the walls of Egypt and the land of Goshen fell in from the shaking. Man, that's crazy.
What
of the
man?
Earth. And Pharaoh, I know it's crazy. Shaking
what kind of voice is that, man? That's got to be serious, man. You can yell
and
so
Pharaoh
loud that you can tumble walls.
Yeah, and Pharaoh also fell from his. Damn, it says, and Pharaoh, and Pharaoh also fell from his throne upon the ground, and also upon the pigeon women of the Egypt and the Goshen miscarried when they heard the noise of the shaking, for they were terribly afraid. Yeah, the Most High had to amplify that voice, man. There's no way.
So all the pregnant women had miscarriages in the whole land of Egypt and Goshen at Judah's yell. Man, that is some serious. Man, I mean that's some. Man, that's probably where they got that superpower from that dude, Black Bolt or whatever that dude name is. The one that carry. I mean, like every single superpower that they have out there for the X-Men or the Avengers, man, it's right here in the scriptures, man.
Yep,
they come from our forefathers.
Yeah, that's probably why they tried to hide these books, man, because they knew eventually we would find out. And Pharaoh sent word saying, "What is this thing that has this day happened in the land of Egypt?" And they came and told him all the things from the beginning to the end. And Pharaoh was alarmed, and he wondered and was greatly afraid. Like, man, you got your family here causing all kinds of chaos, man. Got your family up here wilding out, man. Wilding out in Egypt. And his fright increased when he heard all these things, and he sent unto Joseph, saying, "Thou hast brought unto me the Hebrews to destroy all Egypt." what wilt thou do with that thievish slave? Send him away and let him go with his brethren, and let us not perish through their evil, even we, you, and all Egypt. And if thou desirest not to do this thing, cast off from thee all my valuable things, and go with them to their land, if thou delightest in it. For they will destroy my whole country and slay all my people. Even all the women of Egypt have miscarried through their screams. So what they have done merely by their shouting and speaking, moreover, if they fight with the sword, they will destroy the land. Now therefore choose that which thou desirest, whether me or the Hebrews, whether Egypt or the land of the Hebrews.
Hey, Pharaoh's so terrified, man. Hey, man, I don't care if I made you the top dog. Either that you got to choose your family, or you got to get the hell up out of here, man. I can't take this.
Yeah, man. Yep.
And they came and told Joseph all the words of Pharaoh, and he had said concerning him. And Joseph was greatly afraid at the words of Pharaoh. And Judah and his brethren were still standing before Joseph, indignant and enraged. And all the sons of Jacob roared at Joseph, like the roaring of the sea and its waves. Man, all of them are roaring. There's the lion, man, come on, man. And Joseph was greatly afraid of his brethren, and on the account of Pharaoh. And Joseph sought a pretext to make himself known to his brethren, lest they should destroy all Egypt. And Joseph commanded his son Manasseh, and Manasseh went and approached Judah, and placed his hand upon his shoulder, and the anger of Judah was stilled. And Judah said unto his brother, let no one of you say that this is the act of an Egyptian youth, for this is the work of my father's house. When Joseph, seeing and knowing that Judah's anger was stilled, he approached and spoke. Yeah, he approached the speaker to Judah in the language of mildness. And Joseph said unto Judah, surely you speak truth, and have this day verified your assertions concerning your strength. And may your God, who delighteth in you, increase your welfare. But tell me truly, why from amongst all thy brethren dost thou wrangle with me on account of the lad? As none of them have spoken one word to me concerning him. And Judah answered Joseph, saying, surely thou must know that I have security for the lad to his father, saying, if I brought him not unto him, I should bear his blame forever. Therefore have I approached thee from amongst all my brethren, for I have saw that thou wast unwilling to suffer him to go from thee. Now therefore may I find grace in thy sight, that thou soul shall sit in with us. And behold, I will remain as a substitute for him, to serve thee in whatever thou desirest, for wheresoever thou shalt send me, I will go and serve thee with great energy. Okay, so he's saying he's going to be a good slave, right? Send me now to a mighty king who has rebelled against thee, and thou shalt know what I will do unto him and unto his land. Although he may have cavalry and infantry exceeding mighty people, I will slay them all and bring the king's head before thee. Dang. Judah said, look, you can just send me out there to whatever great nation it is that's been giving you problems, and I'll kill everybody and bring the king of the heads and bring the king's head back before you. Does thou not know? Nah, that's big boy talk. Does thou not know, or hast thou not heard that our father, does thou not know, or hast thou not heard that our father Abraham with his servant Eleazar smote all the kings of Elam and their host in one night? They left not one remaining. And ever since that day, our father's strength was given unto us for an inheritance for us and our seed forever, which is why the Israelites, why the so-called black people, so-called Negroes, why we're stronger, faster, et cetera, than any other race, is because this was given to us and our seed forever as an inheritance from Abraham.
Yep. All right, 61. And Joseph answered and said, you speak truth, and falsehood is not in your mouth. For it was also told unto us that the Hebrews have power, and that the Lord their God delighted much in them. And who then can stand before them? However, on this condition will I send your brother, if you will bring before me his brother, the son of his mother, of whom you said that he had gone from you down to Egypt. And it shall come to pass, when you bring unto me his brother, I will take him in his stead, because not one of you was security for him to your fathers. And when he shall come unto me, I will then send with you his brother for whom ye have seen been security. He's making it plain. And Judah's anger was kindled against Joseph when he spoke this thing, and his eyes dropped blood with anger. And he said unto his brethren, how doth this man this day seek his own destruction, and that all of Egypt? And Simeon answered Joseph, saying, did we not tell thee at first that we knew not the particular spot to which we went, and whether he be dead or alive? And wherefore speaketh my Lord like unto thee, unto these things? All right, 65. And Joseph, observing the countenance of Judah, discerned that his anger began to kindle when he spake unto him, saying, bring unto me your other brother instead of this brother. And Joseph said unto his brethren, surely you said that your brother was either dead or lost. Now, if I should call him this day, and he should come before you, would you give him unto me instead of his brother? And Joseph began to speak and call out, Joseph, Joseph, come this day before me, and appear to thy brethren, and sit before them. And when Joseph spoke this thing before them, they looked at each other differently, in different ways, to see from whence Joseph would come before them. Now they looking like, all right, where's he going to come from?
I know,
what's going on? And Joseph observed all their acts and said unto them, why do you look here and there? I am Joseph, whom you sold to Egypt. Now, the moment he said that, man, I knew that their mouths probably dropped, man. They probably like that dream probably came into play and everything. It says, now, therefore, let it not grieve you that you sold me, for as a support during the famine did God send me before you. And his brothers were terrified at him when they heard the words of Joseph. And Judah was exceedingly terrified at him. Yeah. So you.
No. Slakia. No. We are at what? We're below 13% actually, which goes along to the curses which the Most High said it will be small in every nation. Well, we're not above 13%, no kind of way. Right. The only reason, if you look now, you see that it is 13% on the thing. They're counting half breeds, mamzeers, or anybody that has a mixed child. They're also now counting that to our numbers. Trust me, we are the minority in every single country that we're in. Small, and the Lord celebrates us when we celebrates when He puts us to death too, because He can't stand the wicked. God. All right. Let me go to 71. All right, 71. And when Benjamin heard the words of Joseph, he was before them in the inner part of the house. And Joseph ran into Joseph, his brother, and embraced him and fell upon his neck, and they wept. And when Joseph's brethren saw that Benjamin had fallen upon his brother's neck, remember, because he already knew, because he was able to read the star map, right? And when Joseph's brethren saw that Benjamin had fallen upon his neck and wept with him, they also fell upon Joseph and embraced him, and they wept in a great weeping with Joseph. And the voice was heard in the house of Joseph, for they were Joseph's brethren, and it pleased Pharaoh exceedingly. I know he was like, phew, man, that's his brothers. Okay, no wonder there was, I knew he had to come from a great family. You know what I'm saying? No wonder they was, you know what I mean? And the voice was heard in the house of Joseph, that Joseph's brethren, it pleased Pharaoh exceedingly, for he was afraid of them, lest they should destroy Egypt. And Pharaoh sent his servants unto Joseph to congratulate him concerning his brethren who had come to him. And all the captains of the armies and troops that were in Egypt came to rejoice with Joseph, and all Egypt rejoiced greatly about Joseph's brethren. And Pharaoh sent his servants to Joseph, saying, tell thy brethren to fetch all belonging to him, and let them come unto me, and I will place them in the best part of the land of Egypt. And they did so. And Joseph commanded them, and they were set over the house to bring out of his brethren gifts and garments. And he brought out to them many garments, being robes of royalty and many gifts. And Joseph divided them amongst his brethren. And he gave to each, hey, this is forgiveness, right? His brother forgave him, even though he had to go through all of this hard time, right? Remember, just like the scriptures say in Luke, right? You will not be forgiven unless you forgive those, right, that have asked for forgiveness from you, right? It says if they repent, then you forgive, right? And you can see that his brothers was definitely repentant in the situation by his actions, by willing to fight for Benjamin, right?
That's right.
And he gave unto each of his brethren a change of garments of gold and silver and 300 pieces of silver. And Joseph commanded them all to be dressed in these garments, and they be brought before Pharaoh. And Pharaoh, seeing that all Joseph's brethren was valiant men and of a beautiful appearance, he greatly rejoiced. And they afterward went out to the presence of Pharaoh and go into the land of Canaan to their father, and their brother Benjamin was with them. And Joseph rose up and gave unto them 11 chariots from Pharaoh. And Joseph gave unto them his chariot, upon which he rode on the day of his being crowned in Egypt. So he was a fantastic chariot. So he gave him his celebratory chariot, right? The celebratory car, like, you know, if you send your kids to prom or you try to get married, you know, you try to, you know, rent out the big boy joint, right? So this is what he had right here. And Joseph rose up and gave unto them 11 chariots from Pharaoh, and Joseph, and gave unto them his chariot, upon which he rode the day of being crowned in Egypt, to fetch his father to Egypt. And Joseph sent to all his brothers' children garments according to their numbers, and hundreds of pieces of silver to each of them. And he sent garments to the wives of his brethren and to the garments of the king's wives, and he sent them. Remember, he was able to do all this because what? He was selling corn by the bundles to all the heathens, to everybody that was around the land. All right, I'm scrolling to 81. It's back on you up.
Yep. And he gave unto each of his brethren 10 men to go with them to the land of Canaan to serve them, to serve their children, and all belonged to them in coming to Egypt. And Joseph sent by the hand of his brethren Benjamin 10 suits of garments for his 10 sons, a portion above the rest of the children of the sons of Jacob. And he sent to each 50 pieces of silver and 10 chariots of the count of Pharaoh. And he sent to his father 10 asses laden with all the luxuries of Egypt, man, and 10 she-asses laden with corn and bread and nourishment for his father, and to all that were with him a provision for the road. And he sent to his sister Dana garments of silver of gold, and frankincense, and myrrh, and owls, and women's ornaments in greatly plenty. And he sent the same from the wives of Pharaoh to the wives of Benjamin. And he gave unto all his brethren, also to their wives, all sorts of onyx stones and bedlams, and from all the valuable things among the great people of Egypt. Nothing of all the costly things was left but what Joseph sent to his father's household.
What's like that? Onyx and bdellium. I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna see what's up with that onyx and bdellium. We're gonna try to get us some.
And he sent his brethren away. I bet you the heavenly stuff is way better, man. And he sent his brethren away, and they went, and he sent his brother Benjamin with them. And Joseph went out with them to accompany them on the road unto the borders of Egypt. And he commanded them concerning his father and his household, come to Egypt. And he said unto them, do not quarrel on the road, for this thing was from the Lord to keep a great people from starvation. For there will be yet 5 years of famine in the land. So they didn't want them boys, be like fighting over, I told you shouldn't, and they ended up, making it worse. And he commanded them, saying, when thou come unto the land of Canaan, do not come suddenly before my father in this affair, but act in your wisdom. And Joseph ceased to command them, and he turned and went back to Egypt. And the sons of Jacob went to the land of Canaan with joy and cheerfulness to their father Jacob. Okay, it's back on you.
Go another one. 91 Israel. We got about 20 more verses left, I believe. I'm gonna read this one. I think it ends at 110, and then we're gonna close it out, Israel, for this particular segment. And we'll be back next week as usual. Jasher chapter 54, verse 91.
But when we finish this, we'll leave it open for any questions, though. So, because we want to have some fellowship time as well, too. So,
absolutely. And they came into the borders of the land, and they said to each other, what shall we do in this matter before our father? For if we come suddenly to him and tell him the matter, he will be greatly alarmed at our words and will not believe us. And they went along until they came nigh to their house, and they found Sirach, the daughter of Asher, going forth to meet them. And the damsel was very good and subtle, and knew how to play upon the harp. And they called unto her, and she came before them, and she kissed them. And they took her and gave unto her a harp, saying, Go now before our father, and set before him, and strike upon the harp, and speak these words. And they commanded her to go to the house, and she took the harp and hastened before him. And she came and sat near Jacob, and she played well and sang, and uttered in the sweetness of her words, Joseph, my uncle, is living, and he ruleth throughout the land of Egypt, and he is not dead. Back and he said, I ain't playing no harp for nobody. I ain't doing that. I heard that, man. Says, and she continued to repeat and utter these words, and Jacob heard her words, and they were agreeable to him. And he listened while she repeated them twice and thrice, and joy entered into his heart of Jacob, and the sweetness of her words, and the Spirit of God was upon him. And he knew all her words to be true. And Jacob blessed Sirach when she spoke these words before him, and he said unto her, My daughter, may death never prevail over thee, for thou hast revived my spirit. Only speak yet before me as thou hast spoken, for thou hast gladdened me with all thy words. Right? So Jacob blessed her to get the kingdom. Right? That's the only way death won't prevail over you. And she continued to sing these words, and Jacob listened, and it pleased him, and he rejoiced, and the Spirit of God was upon him. Whilst he was yet speaking with her, behold, his sons came to him with horses and chariots and royal garments and servants running before them.
All righty. Verse 101. And Jacob rose up to meet them and saw his sons dressed in royal garments. And he saw all the treasures that Joseph had sent to them. Now, I bet you at this point, man, like Jacob's probably like, what in the world is going on? And they said unto him, Be informed that our brother Joseph is living, and it is he who ruleth throughout the land of Egypt. And it is he who spoke unto us as we told thee. And Jacob heard all the words of his sons, and his heart populated at their words. Man, I can only imagine, like, this is just too much, because he's mourning Joseph all these years. And all of a sudden, you're telling him he's alive, not only alive, but he is the governor of all of Egypt. It says, For he could not believe them until he saw all that Joseph had given them and what he had sent him, and all the signs which Joseph had spoken unto them. And they opened out before him and showed him all that Joseph had sent. They gave unto each what Joseph had sent him, and he knew that they had spoken the truth, and he rejoiced exceedingly on account of his son. And Jacob said, It is enough for me that my son Joseph is still living. I will go and see him before I die.
I'm gonna scroll up. Yeah. Oh, that's it right there.
Yep. Yeah, this goes to 110. And his sons told him all that had befallen them. And Jacob said, I will go down to Egypt to see my son and his offspring. And Jacob rose up and put on the garments which Joseph had sent him. And after he had washed and shaved his hair, he put upon his head the turban which Joseph had sent him. Man, I bet you that turban was cold, boy. That was a bad turban, boy. And all the people of Jacob's house and their wives put on the garments which Joseph had sent to them, and they greatly rejoiced at Joseph, that he was still living and that he was ruling in Egypt. And all the inhabitants of Canaan heard of this thing, and they came and rejoiced much with Jacob, that he was still living. And Jacob made a feast for them for 3 days, and all the kings of Canaan and nobles in the land ate and drank and rejoiced in the house of Jacob. Man, I bet you, man, them jokers was drunk as all get out, boy.
But you could tell Jacob was lamenting still over his son's death, man, because he ain't washed, and then he ain't shaved. He looked like he was looking wild out there.
Yeah.
And when his son came back, he was so happy. He shaved, washed up, man. Yes, I got all 12 of my boys. Let's go.
Yep. Man, imagine.
All right, Israel. Do we have any questions? Any questions, concerns, anything that you want to go ahead and ask it right now in the comment section. If you don't understand something or you don't agree, we're gonna put a link down here in the description. If you want to come on and say, hey, the book of Jasher is false and this, that, the third, you're welcome to come on and we can discuss it with you. It says question. Do you think those predictions similar to today? I think so. I mean, it says question, all right? He scared us throughout the world. He scattered us throughout the world. Do you think Joseph's predicament is similar to us today? Well, it's as long as we keep the law, statutes, and commandments, we're gonna come back. The Most High, he will definitely, he'll definitely retrieve us. But it's but now
it is
we're
a little
so
different.
long removed.
It's a little different for the fact that we just don't know our identity. We don't know who we are. We don't speak our language. Even though Joseph was sold into slavery, and he still kept the laws. You still had the tribes and everything, and you still had they were still keeping the commandments. And our situation, man, is going to be quite unique when the Most High gathers us, because it's like ours is going to be more like compared to when we came out of Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we go into the wilderness, because that's exactly what's going to happen, because we're going to have to learn all over again, and it's not going to be a pleasant sight, but I think that the more of us who wake up and keep the commandments is going to make it easier,
Like, we know it's coming soon.
Yeah.
Like, if you read Isaiah 4:1, that's exactly the the stuff that's going on today in the scriptures, and like what's going on the other day. We see that, if you have a point in time where you got seven sisters running up to you talking about something, hey, just marry us, please call us, please put your last name on us, hey man, we can feed ourselves, we can clothe ourselves, you ain't gotta do nothing but just marry us, so the Lord won't be mad that we out here being single, independent women. Now that's what in the situation that we got going on right now today, that it's rising, you know what I mean? So we know we're close to the end.
Yeah. Hey, if you get a chance to watch the lesson we did last night on New Moon, please go and watch that, because we brought out a lot of good information, according to the scriptures, and we talked about all that, because right now the nail in the coffin that the heathens did to us was take away the men out the homes. Once you do that, it's like you don't have a foundation. Without the man, I don't care. You can say, a woman is more educated. You can say that, oh well, women, or have better careers or what have you. But at the end of the day, they don't, because there's it's more like servitude jobs, telemarketing jobs.
Yeah, fact.
Yeah, it ain't the jobs that the men hold, but all the jobs that the men are holding are the heathens. And the only thing that women are competing with is other black women with degrees, and that's it. And you'd be lucky that if you even get in with a heathen, you have to have favorable actions towards them in order for them to let you in. So I just wish our people would wake up and realize, man, that the only way that you're going to come back to these powers, man, is you're going to have to humble yourselves, submit, and these brothers are going to have to become righteous, man. But it's hard to do that now, because we're seeing seriously a bad epidemic, man, of no fathers in the home. So these kids growing up these days, they're not going to get that same thing that we got growing up and beyond. And this is why it's so bad these days, because it's like the only way it's going to get better is that everything has to just take its natural course and self-destruct. It's like the scripture says, a wave to a drop.
Wow.
Our people are not going to. Yeah, our people are not going to stop going. Our people are not going to stop going to the churches, because for every one person who wakes up out of these Christian churches, Satan sends 10 more to replace you. So these churches are growing, but they're growing in wickedness.
That's right. Wow. Just I don't know, Israel. Y'all can just see the madness of what's going on. Like, especially if we just read through Jasher and we're seeing all the stuff. Man, you see that the men are taking control of the situation. They're the ones that's, make sure everything's okay. The women don't really have to do anything. They got to sit back and chill. The only time when we did see something happen to one of our sisters when they kidnapped Dinah, man, we destroyed 7 cities behind that.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, man, we ain't playing with you. You know what I mean? That's how it's supposed to be. The women's supposed to chill, have, raise the children and be nurturing, as far as that's concerned. They're not supposed to be concerned themselves with trying to run the community or any of that other stuff. As we see here, in the very beginning, it was, it was holy. It was righteous in the beginning. I don't know what's going on these days. We're falling victim to every trick, every trade that the heathens have on us, man. Y'all love it. You know what I'm saying? Like Brother David
we're
said,
still doing it.
they slurp up the gravy.
Yeah, we still doing it, man. Like you got this, what is this? FDA, Foundation of Black America now, FBAs. Like what the hell, man? Like our people, man, they just constantly searching for an identity that don't belong to them instead of embracing their own identity.
Shalom Akim, according to 1 Corinthians 1:7, let's bring that up real quick. Salakia, he says, do you support celibacy? I do support celibacy. 1 Corinthians, chapter 7. Which verse, you got a particular verse? Are you talking about, or are you talking about this one right here where it says, and unto the married I command yet not, but a commandment of God, saying, let not the wife depart from her husband, but if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let the husband not. Yes, absolutely. As far as this is concerned, and this also goes with, like we were talking about last night, if you got any children by any other man, you're supposed to keep them legs closed unless it's with your baby daddy. Anything else is adultery, and you're going to the lake of fire. I'm not even trying to sugarcoat it. It is what it is. Let me see. Revelation.
I'm pulling up right now, 12:17.
Con. Yeah, bring that out. Or is that 21:17 or 12:17? What is that up? You know what I mean? Tolbert, brother Tolbert. Clarify just to make sure we got the right scripture out. Black people were closer to Yahweh 100 years ago than we are today. Absolutely. Yeah, Black Wall Street existed then. Yeah, as far as action was.
Mm-hmm. Is that right one, 12:17?
Yeah, Khan. You know what I'm saying? 12:17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman. Oh, you talking about Israel? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's already, yep. Went to make remnant of the seed in the garden. Khan, that's right. You know what I'm saying? We've already been, that's pretty much talking about 70 AD. Okay.
Yep.
And we've already been, expelled from Israel along with all the Edomites being destroyed around the same time.
Yeah, read it from the beginning too, or actually start with chapter 10. That way to kind of help you to get that as well too. Because right now we're in the toes of Revelation. I mean, not Revelation, but of Daniel chapter 2, the image. Like we're in that toes right now. So none of the seals have fallen yet. Well, when it falls, it's going to be simultaneously. So
Jeremiah, what are you saying about Jeremiah 17? I'm in a 16. What were you saying about that, Brother Bernard? Anything in particular? Are you talking about verses 13 through 15, possibly? Maybe, just in case, I'll add it to the stage. We'll see what he's. I'm guessing he's maybe talking about this. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe something else. Therefore, I cast you all into this land and into the land that ye know not, neither know your fathers, and ye shall serve the gods day or night, where I will not show you favor. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, this not the same as it is then. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall be no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought you up the children of Israel, the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he has driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Right. So this is a future prophecy, right? In Jeremiah 16. Good one, brother. Brother Bernard, I believe, he was probably talking about this, of the Most High deliverance out of the land of these heathens, and bringing us back. I'm ready, man. You know what I mean? I said we're not Negroes, right? We're not niggas. We're not we're not African Americans. We're not Afro Americans, or none of that. It says,
no FBA, no FBAs, Foundation of Black America, whatever the hell they calling it. You see, this is the trick of the Satan, man. This is to get us distracted, and this is why social media, you got to be careful what you look at on social media, because you can find yourself just being distracted from all kinds of stuff. Because there's a lot of good stuff on social media, but majority of it, it's a lot of bad stuff too. You know, and you have to be careful what you let inside your mind. I like this one too. I think you mentioned it already. You know, it's like black people were closer to Hamashiach 100 years ago. You know, and also to add to that, we had fathers in the home. You know, just over 50 years ago, we had fathers in the home. This whole independent single thing started coming out in the 90s. Like, we had people like Babyface singing, "I'll pay your rent, you know, I'll pay all your bills," all the simps. That was the time of the simps coming up, you know, and, you know, women can just do their own thing. But it, you know, started before that, of course. But the 90s really was the decade that kind of thing started to take off with singlehood, single parenting really started to take off. And even back then, that was a scary thing, because I saw it coming. I was like, man, this thing's gonna blow up, man. If this keeps going the way it goes.
Oh man. Do we have any other questions, Israel? We are the children of the Most High King. Khan. All right. Yeah, Brother Bernard, what are you asking? You just can't put scriptures up there, brother. I don't understand what you're asking. Before, you had me reading your mind. Jeremiah 16, 1 through 2. All right, brother, saying, thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons or daughters in this place.
Yeah, but I don't know which verse he's talking about though. He's talking about the whole chapter.
Oh no, like, okay. I see what he's talking about. He's talking about celibacy. It says the word of the Lord came, also saying to me, "Thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons or daughters in this place." Right, but that's not talking about us today. You know what I mean? And the Lord didn't come to you telling you anything, right? This the Lord came to Isaiah, who was a prophet. Like, we don't have any prophets these days, so this isn't the same as us as today. As you look at the laws, when it tells us how to act in the land of I think you go to Deuteronomy 16 or something like that, it tells you that, you know, when we're in the land of Babylon, when we're in Babylon, we're supposed to, you know, stick with our own people, right? Be fruitful, multiply, and keep the commandments. You know what I mean? To the best of our ability. That's it. Yeah, because it wouldn't make any sense not to not to take wives or any of that other stuff. Jeremiah, what was that? 16? Yeah, something like Gentiles, 16. Other 10 tribes. All heathens. Something I wanted to bring out, man. Let me see. What are children in 1 Corinthians? All right, so I guess 1 Corinthians 7 and 2 is the same thing. You know what I think too, Ak, man? You know, as I'm reading this, right, I was looking at this over here, Slack Israel, for the yeah, man, you should support yeah, I mean, if you want to support celibacy, I mean, I believe that there's no law saying that you should have celibacy, right? So I mean, if you want to be celibate, that's fine. Like I have no problem with that if that's what you want to have. You know, so if you want to be celibate, sure, do your own thing, right? But I'm not saying that you know, I'll support you if you want to do it, but I don't tell everybody to do that. You know what I mean? Because you can read the book of Paul, and he'll tell you that, you know, hey man, if you don't think you can withstand not having sex, that you should marry. Better for you to marry than to burn.
Well, I know some couples they practice. It's not in the scriptures, but it's what they call today alchemy, which is what it is. It's basically a practice where two couples, or you have a married couple, man and a woman, who may practice alchemy. And basically what that is, instead of allowing the ejaculation to come out, they withhold that and transfer that energy to something or something else, you know, that they're trying to overcome or whatever. So that kind of celibacy is good too. It's almost kind of like I mean, like kind of like fasting. You know, you're trying to accomplish a goal or something like that. But I don't know too many couples who really practice that. But you know, like Brother Aton was saying, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. That's something that's between you and your partner that you want to do. You know, to achieve some kind of goal or something.
O my Lord, my strength, my fortune, my refuge, in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. And I don't think this is talking about the heathens. I think this is talking about the 10 tribes, right? Being the Gentiles, being the 10 tribes, saying they will come to thee because we were split from the, we came from the ends of the earth, right? The Lord put us there. And we're going to say, hey, surely our fathers who have become wicked and not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, they've inherited lies such as America and Britain and all these other countries, vanity, Christmas, all these other 4th of July and things that were no profit, right? This ain't got nothing to do with, the heathens, you know what I'm saying? When people try to say that, this is talking about the heathens saying that, oh, the heathens going to come from afar, the end say, man, they ain't got nothing to do with them. You know what I mean? It's talking about us. You know what I'm saying? Why would we care about them? Pertaining to last night's lesson. Oh, you want to read it? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's pertaining to last night's lessons. When we are regathered, will the mixing marriage of tribes return to not being permitted? As we know, it was not initially, but later was allowed. The only reason why it was allowed is because we went into captivity. So we're kind of like a mixture of different tribes. But there's a verse in Obadiah that says that he will cleanse our blood. So right now, we don't know what tribes we are. Let me go to, let's go to, hey, can you go to Isaiah 11:11 right quick? Bring that up. I'm just going to bring that out, kind of give you an idea kind of where we scattered to. So, all right. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people. So this hasn't happened yet, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Panthros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. All right. Now these we know are the northern kingdoms. All right. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcast of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the 4 corners of the earth. So we know that majority of the northern tribes are concentrated in those areas we just read, and Judah is concentrated to the 4 corners of the earth. All right. Again, we don't know what tribe we are. So, but when the Most High returns to cleanse our blood, he's going to name our tribes, and whatever tribes we fall under, that's the same tribe that our children is going to fall under. Mm-hmm.
Alchemy, that's okay. Alchemy is not real, right? You know what I'm saying? They try to say that that's something that they had what they would say that you'd be able to turn silver into gold, or you could turn bronze into gold, right? That's alchemy, but that's not real.
Well, actually, what they call alchemy is not. So it's not the same thing. Well, they
that is alchemy
mostly. Yeah, they mostly relate to there's a thing that's called sexual alchemy, where they talk about semen retention, kind of like a celibacy kind of thing. But
is
that alchemy,
I don't think she's talking about sexual alchemy. I think she's talking about just like the regular, decomposition, changing different metals into other stuff.
Oh no, that's not. Yeah, man. Did they call it alchemy? I thought that was something else that they call it.
No, it's 100% alchemy, right? It's the transformation of base metals such as lead or tin into noble metals such as gold and silver.
Here, let's look that up real quick. I'm curious too.
I got it looked up on this other side. Here, I'll pull it up. I'll show it to you.
Pull it up on the screen. Yeah.
All right, hold up for a second, Israel. Boom, right? So we're talking about alchemy, right? Alchemy is an ancient philosophical, esoteric, and proto-scientific discipline practiced across Egypt, Middle East, Asia, and Europe, thought to understand the composition of matter, bridge material to spiritual worlds and master transformation, right? Which is
Transformation.
not,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying,
Yep.
which is not real, right? You know what I'm saying? Alchemical traditions primarily centered on three interrelated pursuits, right? Which is chrysopoeia, which is transmutation, the transformation of base metals such as lead or tin into noble metals like gold or silver, right? The philosopher's stone, right? A legendary substance believed to facilitate transmutation and act as the primary catalyst for perfection, and the elixir of life, all stuff that we know that is not real.
She said she meant both, so I guess she was talking about alchemy
okay.
and sexual alchemy. So
Let's look up what sexual alchemy.
yeah, put in sexual alchemy, because I think that's what I was thinking too. Because sexual alchemy deals with like transfer of energy or something like that from semen retention, if I'm not mistaken. But pull it up and let's see what it says.
That's a church, same thing. Physical, okay. Or create life force away from mere physical discharge and towards spiritual awakening, mental activity. This is classical.
Yeah.
Core principles: transmutation over dissipation. Traditional views in alchemy, Taoism, and Hermeticism hold that ejaculation or mindless energetic release depletes the body's primary life force. Transmutation focuses on circulating this energy upward to the substitute body rather than, like you were saying, semen retention. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was thinking. But alchemy itself is like a transformation or whatever. Yeah, but the sexual, when I was talking about it, I do know a few couples that do practice that, and you know that's something personal, that's something sacred, you know, that they do, and it works for them. You know, hey.
Let me see what else we got. Anything else dealing with biblical? Anything else dealing with the scriptures? It says before 1964, black people owned businesses. We had our own banks, grocery stores, marriages. Basically, back in were changed after 64. Just part of the curses, pops. You know, just part of the curses. We're never gonna come up like that unless we keep the law, statutes, and commandments.
Now, remember what Deuteronomy says. You go back and read Deuteronomy 28. And he said that we would never ever. He said he would bring up the heat. He would bring up the stranger high amongst us. And plus, you know, back then, you know, God bless our brothers and sisters, man, who were having their own business. They was just versions of heathens, because basically they just took what the heathens had and kind of made it their own. But they wouldn't keep no commandments. They still had their Christian churches, and they still were celebrating all these holidays and all that kind of stuff. So it was like it was just basically a kind of living like a chocolate covered heathens, pretty much. Just had money.
That stuff's never gonna it's never gonna really amount to anything unless it's led, and the base value of it is the foundation being the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right. This is why going into the wilderness is going to be a big culture shock for a lot of our people, because in order for us to come up, we're going to have to be away from the heathen, just like Pharaoh took away his people, even though you had strangers among them. But you know, they still went by the laws, commandments, and statutes. You know, and a lot of them were ended up being destroyed.
This is the brother. My brother. This is for the brother, Mr. Lawrence. Hey, I remember what you were saying earlier. I just wanted to show you, like, this is why we're going to be small in every nation right here. Verse 62, it said, you should be left few in number, whereas you were, right? Meaning that we were a part of the seas, right? We were as the stars of heaven for a multitude, because thou wouldst not obey the Lord thy God, right? And on top of it, right, not only are we going to be few in number, which means that we are definitely a minority, and no matter what country we're in, right? It says, it shall come to pass that the Lord shall rejoice over you to do you good and to multiply you. So at one point in time, we've seen during the time of David and the time when we were keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, we were the stars of the sea. The Lord was rejoicing and happy to multiply us, right? We had plenty of children, right? We was able to be multiplied good. Now it says, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you, right? And to bring you to naught, right? Abortion homes, right? Women out listening, we having killing all the kids, murders, so forth and so on. It's going on. The white man shooting us down, all of this stuff right there. This is the Lord. He's happy, right? To bring you to naught, and you should be plucked off the land, whether you go as to possess it. Now, all of these things are happening to us because we're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. All right. If we were keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, we won't be having no abortion homes. All right. But because we're not, the Lord ain't about to let more wicked ass Hebrews, right, be born in the earth and to make him even more mad. So this is why we must be destroyed until the smallest amount. Just imagine if it was of the stars of the heaven and all of y'all were wicked. Man, there's no way the Most High would keep Israel around. We'll have to be destroyed. So it's like, you know, this is why we're less in number, lesser than all the heathens. Right? The Lord's got to keep our wickedness down. Got to keep the numbers down to keep the wickedness down. I hate to say
that's
it like
sad,
that.
man. That's just pure sad. And also in Deuteronomy 4:27, he says that and it says the same thing too. Pretty much, we're going to be scattered amongst the Gentiles, and we'll be left few in number amongst the Gentiles. And this is why a lot of our people, man, no matter where they are, if they're taking on the languages of their captors, you know, they're also taking on the religions of their captors.
Facts. Telling you, Israel, man, this ain't no game around here. You know, we're not, you know what I'm saying? The Lord is not, you know, you got to remember, right? He is the mastermind. Man, you think the Lord's gonna all of a sudden let 100 million Hebrews be born in one country? Ain't no way. You know what time it is. 100 million Hebrews in a country where we taking over. You know, they're not gonna be able to stop 100 million of us. That's why they're having the problems now stopping the little amount of people that we have now. They can't get us to act right. So imagine if it was 100 million of us in here. Man, that would be a wrap for these heathens, man. Man, we'll take over the United States. We'll destroy, you know what I'm saying? We'll just keep on doing it. And there's nothing that they can do because we're literally stronger than all other nations on the earth. So the Most High has to keep us down in order for us not to step up, right? He has to keep us in a position where we have to know that we need to be saved by the Lord and nobody else. You know what I'm saying? You don't think it's frustrating knowing that you're the strongest race out here, the smartest race out here, but you just can't get above water, that you always drown?
No man shall save you. You look at Dr. Umar Johnson, who's always talking all that noise, but never have anything to show for it.
God.
You know, it says what's the Nohide International Conference? I don't know what the Nohide International is.
The Nohide
I never heard that before.
November.
Well, first of all, Noahide. I'm having this. It has something to do with Noah, something like that. I don't know what the hell that is. You're gonna have to explain that to me.
International come this November 2nd through the 6th. What say you, brothers? We say that we do not know, my brother. That's what I say.
Yeah,
I say that I do not know. Noahide Law Center. Oh, is
this something the Khazars are putting together? Is this like the Khazar stuff?
The son of perdition. Anything that's not, you know, like we gotta. Oh, you talking about 7 law, or martial law? I don't know. Like, only thing I'm saying, Israel, is that, you know, regardless of what happens, right? No matter what kind of anything they pass, laws, anything that they pass to you, you know, at the end, it's going to have to get hard. You're going to have to stand up for the Lord no matter what goes down. You're going to have to say, hey, man, I'm a child of God. I don't care what you call it. I'm not a nigga. I'm not a Negro. I'm not any of these other nations. I'm a child of God, and I keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Cut off my head if you got to. That's what it's going to come down to at the end days, right? You know, so whatever martial law they put upon you, whatever stigmas or whatever, you know, stigmas they try to put upon you, or like they say, maybe that mark of the beast or whatever the case may be, they might try to force you to do this, do that. Man, you got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. That's that's it. There's nothing really outside of that.
Even on pain of death, you know.
That's right, brother. And once you focus on that, man, you know, you'll be on your way out of here. Right? You'll be heading to your way up out of here, man. And that's what we all trying to go. We're trying to get the hell up out of here. I know I am.
Yep. Yeah, I'm definitely.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, right? And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and thou shalt have none assurance of thy life. Man, ain't that the truth? Man, I saw a brother the other day. He got shot by the police, and he was calling on the phone on his mom, and he wouldn't even do anything. The police had got out somebody else, and then just ended up shooting the brother for no reason. I mean, it was literally for no reason. And the man was apologizing and all kind of stuff. He ended up getting fired for it later, but you know, that just goes to show you about, you know, the type of curses we on, man. And the most High ain't playing with Israel. And of course, man, you know that wouldn't happen if that brother was keeping the commandments, but you could tell the way he was dressed or whatever the case may be, right? That brother was not obeying God's laws, statutes, and commandments. So you just happen to get a bullet for the hell of it.
The scripture says that people are very stiff-necked people, man. So when you're stiff-necked people, guess what? You die hard. Is that
all
old
those-
saying that old saying that our grandparents used to say? A hard head makes a soft behind.
That's right.
Hard head makes it soft behind, and that's exactly the fate of our people, unfortunately.
Can't remember what I'm trying to think, man. What does that thing say? What was that? Revelation 9 and 10? Slocky. I think it's 9 and 10. Slocky is wrong. My mind. I haven't been in Revelation for a minute. Come on, small. I think it's 9 and 10. No. All right, hold on. What was it like? When did it say that you know that scripture that talks about he that will live with the sword will die by the sword? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, just look it up here.
Yeah, it's Revelation somewhere. I can't remember which one, man. But
Yeah, let me find it right quick.
yeah, but I want to talk about that too, because that's why, you see brothers, saying with that gangbanging nonsense, what happens? It's it's just like the scriptures say, live by the sword, you're gonna die by the sword.
Yeah.
But during the times of the 1,000-year reign, the heathen will be our prey. Absolutely, that's right. They will be the prey. They will be getting their necks stepped on with the big
Matthew
26:52.
Try that one.
Oh, really? That's it? I must be all the way out there. Matthew 26.
51. 52. Yep, Matthew 26:52.
56 or 26?
Matthew chapter 26, verse 52.
No, that's not it. Hold up, man.
Okay.
It says, put away that sword in its place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Yeah, I guess you could use that one, right? Yeah, I guess you can use that one. I thought it was in Revelation. Slovakia. Do you have any other questions, Israel?
Yeah, I'm looking up, man. I don't see no Revelation. Yeah, I thought the same thing too, man. Revelations, because this isn't about sword in Revelation.
I know it's in there. I know it's in there somewhere. It's something like that. You know what I'm saying? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Yeah, 13:10. I don't know what was going on in my brain. Revelation 13. What did I say? 13:9? 13:10.
Oh, yeah, going to captivity. Oh, yeah, that's different. So
Yeah. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, right? And he that killeth with the sword shall be killed with the sword. So, and we know that America, they makes war and they're warmongers, right? So we all see that what's going to happen to them. They're going to be put to death, right? He that leadeth into captivity shall go to captivity. We don't put, we don't lead nobody into captivity, right? But we've been led into captivity. So that just goes to show you that all these other nations, when Hamashiach comes back, it's a wrap. It's time to put that size 12 boot on their neck, trying to get out that whip. Hold up, heathen. I said I want 4 lumps of sugar in my tea.
Oh, yeah, man. In Book of Enoch, man, it says that the Most High is going to deliver them into our hands, and we'll be able to do to them as our desire. Yeah, I know what that means. As your desire, that means that there's no restraints.
All right, Israel, we don't have any other questions or comments, concerns. I'm going to turn it back over to Brother Daniel, the elder. I'm going to let him close out for us.
All right, Yasharel. Well, hey, thank you all for coming on. Pray that you all edified. Continue to go back over these lessons. Make sure you go over the new moon lesson we did last night on the Simp Daddies, so that you can know that there is a way that the scriptures do not support being a stepdad. So you can see clearly what the process is if a woman lost her husband and she became widow. So there's a procedure for that. But with that being said, continue to enjoy the rest of your Shabbat and new moon. And we're going to bid you a hearty Shabbat new moon.
And stay strong, Israel, and stay strong.
All right.